Chapter 4776. Chapter 4776. Hey. When it's too late, it's fast, and Chen Ming's three hit it off. Chen Shi and Chang Jiao Tiaro both shot at the same time and attacked Xuanzang. Xuanzang had killed her heart at this time, only killing one person, and the natural killing in her heart was not lost. She waited for Longfei to open, and at the moment the other party shot, Longfei's voice also appeared in her ear. Kill it. Longfei's voice is indifferent. Since I already know that killing each other and being able to seize the air, Longfei naturally will not keep it. Moreover, all of this is because they are self-sufficient. If they do not want to capture the Green Hills, they will naturally not encounter dragon flying. Get the sound of Longfei, Xianzong's sword in his hand, the sword refers to the void, the Buddha reappears between moments, and the Buddha's lotus is suspended, like nothing. But the murderous intention and the meditation still show that this sword is terrible. The power of the gods. It's a punch. Chen Shi and Chang Jiao Tiaro both shot at the same time. The momentum of Tai Jingxian was released to the extreme. This time, it is their only chance, as long as they hold Xianzong, give Chen Ming really go to the time to go to Longfei, they have a way to live. At least, within their plan, this is a perfect ending. A strong woman, but it is not likely to be the opponent of the monk and the monk. There are still lords, the lords are preparing to go straight to the Huanglong. As long as the boy is left, everything is back on track, and Qingqiu is ours. Ha ha ha, not just the Green Hills, but also these women, watching it will be strong. Both Shangwumen and the Dusty people are excited. But for these words, Longfei directly passed completely. Ignorance is a personality, and these people are said. In the face of absolute strength, all struggles are sudden. Kid, since you want to kill, then you will die. At this time, Chen Ming also shouted, the strength of his hand's infinite bursts, directly across the void, and suddenly came to Longfei. And Longfei, but no response, just looked up at the attacking Chen Ming, a faint coldness appeared in the corner of his mouth. The other party's plan is simply not the eyes of Longfei. It's a pity that the other party is killing. But Chen Ming, seeing Longfei directly stunned, indifferent, but the heart is a high, more determined his own guess. Sure enough, this person is holding this woman, now the woman is held back, he is nothing. Chen Ming's heart is happy, the speed suddenly rises, and in a flash, it comes to Longfei. But at this moment, Longfei hands-on, directly explored one hand, without any accident, directly penetrated Chen Ming's all means of attack, and came directly to Chen Ming. Snapped. A crisp sound shook the world. Chen Ming's body flew directly out of the dozens of feet, leaving a palm print on his face. The Lord was beaten. Grass, wrong, big mistakes, this kid is also hidden. Not good, the sovereign is in danger. This scene appeared, no one was surprised. In their eyes, the dragons that had fallen down were safe and sound, but they were so excited that they were slap in the air. This result is a subversion for them and a panic. The next moment, as they thought, the figure of Longfei disappeared instantly, and did not give Chen Ming a chance to react. He kicked him out and directly pressed Chen Ming to the ground. Do you want to hold me? Longfei asked. No, it's impossible. There is no breath in your body. Why can you have this kind of power? Is there a magic weapon in your body? Chen Ming is incredible, violent, and full of unwillingness and humiliation. Well, he is also the master of a generation of Xian men. Nowadays, all the people are trampled by Longfei, how can they bear it? Not impossible, but you are ignorant. Longfei was too lazy to explain. Now his cultivation has been completely unsealed, and the super-successful terrorist power directly above the Da Luo is quasi-holy, and he dare not say that he can perceive the repair of Longfei. He is a Tai Jingxian in his district, and he dares to smash the dragon and fly his mind on Longfei. He can only say that he is looking for death. After that, Longfei didn't hesitate, and he tried hard and slammed. Hey! Chen Ming's head was directly collapsed by Longfei's foot and died. Then, we saw that the invisible force of air transport surged out of it, and in the blink of an eye, it floated to the heavens and earth and returned to nature. However, in the face of Longfei, how could Longfei let go? Even if the power of the two sects is not strong, it is extremely important for the current Longfei. Therefore, it is impossible to watch the power of this air force return to the heavens and the earth. The things you want to go still want to run, they don't exist. The power of Dantian, swallow. Longfei mobilized Dantian, because now Dantian is too complicated. Even if it is his own body, Longfei can't control it. However, the last time he swallowed the power of eternal life, Longfei has been able to use it. Although it is limited, it is now more than enough to swallow up the sect of the sect. Cool. The dragon-flying whale swallows the sea in general, just the time of blinking, and the power of air transport hovering in the void is directly swallowed by Longfei. However, this time, Longfei did not let Dantian absorb the refining. Moreover, Dantian did not show any interest, but saved this breath in Dantian. For this result, Longfei is also extremely unexpected. However, accidental accidents, since the system sister let this power retain, then never let go, even if Dantian is not interested, Longfei must also stay. At the same time, Xuanzang's battle also entered the final stage. Xuanzang itself is extremely strong, and now she is returning to the fairy world, and her power can be fully displayed. Together with a long sword with a variety of laws and powers, it is simply unfavorable. Even if it is a pair of two, it is completely crushed. No, it's impossible. How could you be so strong? The same is Tai. Even if your magic weapon is so powerful, it is impossible to fight. We have no power to fight back. This is impossible. The high-profile man lost his soul and his pupils were open. This result is completely beyond his expectations. In particular, what he could not accept was that even Chen Ming was defeated, and he was directly killed by 1 foot. This also proves that all their previous plans are insane. Don't say that it is revenge now, even if their lives are not guaranteed. And Chen Shi is even more ridiculous, but more than the usual high-profile can understand the current form, but also more hot, for his father's death, do not care, turn around and leave. Even before leaving, I have not forgotten to push the high-profile move forward and fight for time. Right, you dare, often high-pitched roar, his face is extremely embarrassing. The dead friend is not dead, the main door, I am still young, rest assured, I will avenge you in the future. Chen Shi coldly said, no scruples, turned into a streamer want to escape. Revenge? You have no chance. Longfei looked at his eyes and said in a soft voice. Chapter 4777. Chapter 4777. In the face of absolute strength, all ghosts are in vain. The gap is too big. This Chenxi is an absolute gap in front of Longfei. The gap between heaven and earth cannot be filled with a little trick. Just at the moment when his figure just turned, the figure of Longfei had already arrived and came forward, directly blocking the route of Chen Shi's escape. Then, the Invincible punched out, without any deviation, fell on the face of Chenxi. Boom! The boxing wind swept the world, and the horrible airwaves directly smashed a void. Under this punch, Chen Shi's figure is gone. It was not disappeared, but was annihilated by a dragon, and turned into a group of powder, dissipated between heaven and earth. It can be said that the death must be miserable, and there is no bone. God, the sovereign and the sovereign are all dead. We are finished, we are finished. Escape. This kind of person is not what we can provoke at all, we must go. For a moment, all the people of the dusty sects were all in a panic, one by one, the stunned bird, the crazy escape. At this point, Chen Shi and Chen Ming died, Xianmeng was seized, and the whole dust sect became a rootless duckweed. The destruction was already a matter of nailing. Then, Longfei looked at him and looked at the high profile. The high profile eyes are shocked, and the heart is like the sky. The incomparably heavy pressure is directly suppressed on the heart, and it is extremely painful. Thump. Without any hesitation, the high profile is directly in front of Longfei. Give me, I will give you whatever you want. Even if you want to be a martial arts, I can also give up. I don't want to die. I am already a Taijin Jinxian. Going further, I will become a ****** in the world. Even if the ***** of heaven is seeing me, I will be polite. 3 people, please spare me. I really don't want to die. Always high profile, unquestioned, begging for mercy, the color of prayer in the eyes. But this performance is untouchable for Longfei. No matter what the other party, Longfei can't give him a way to live. After all, related to his own system tasks, Longfei could not be soft. The doorkeeper, don't ask him, let's fight with him. To the doorkeeper, we swear to die together with Shangwuman. The doorkeeper, get up, we have martial arts in the heart of Wuman, that is, the ***** of war, we must not bow. In the distance, the disciples of Shangwuman vented their remarks and their faces were filled with grief and disappointment. For the high profile, now begging for mercy, the chill is very incomparable. Lord, you said that we are still Wuman inheritance, the heavens and the earth are respected, as long as we have martial arts in our hearts, even if it is a fairy, we can't help us, life and death can be broken, now you are begging for mercy. Yeah, Lord, how can you do this? You are the Valkyrie in our hearts, the Valkyrie can die, but how can you beg for mercy? The doorkeeper, stand up, we will die with you. Numerous Shangwumen shouted together. It was Longfei who also had a shock in his heart. I thought that the high profile is always so embarrassing, and the disciples under the door are not strong enough. However, I did not expect that the Shangwumen were much better than him. They were all bloody, and even though they died, they did not choose to back down. Do you want to shut up the old man? Wushan a fart. I am just kidding you to die. The world is between the heavens and the earth, the saints are the most, the heavens are the main, who can change, who cannot. A group of stupid people, if you want to live, you will beg for mercy. Chang Jiao screamed, and then looked at Longfei, and became humble, with a heavy head underneath. Longfei slightly pouted, this performance, let Longfei heart more heart-killing. Such a doorkeeper is simply a joke. Normal high profile? Surely Singer high-handed, but useless. Today you will die. Longfei heart moved, his eyes condensed, and then no doubt, lifted his legs. Do not. A high-pitched scream, a sharp voice passed directly to the heavens and the earth. But with just one click, it stopped abruptly. Boom! Longfei fell on one foot and stepped on the earth. The horror was incomparable. Even the Qingqiu mountain was shaking, and the ground moved. The constant high profile is also dissipated between the heavens and the earth, and there is no sound. Then, the same scene happened. The Xianmen air transport of Shangwuman also wanted to diffuse the world and return to nature. It is a pity that in front of Longfei, they are invisible and directly swallowed up by Longfei. Let's go. Longfei said with both hands and never turned around. These people, killing is useless, the purpose of Longfei has been reached. The Xianmen air transport has been reached, and the crisis in Qingqiu has been lifted and the mission has been completed. After that, Longfei ignored it and went straight to the Qingqiu side. At this time, the sound of the system also appears as, hey, congratulations to the player Longfei to complete the mission and save the Qingqiu fox. Hey, congratulations to the player for the system reward, the cornerstone of Xianmen. Longfei did not hesitate, and consciousness entered the system space, taking the Shanmenji stone carefully. The feeling of being heavy and heavy is like standing in the world, but it can be a good place for the world. Longfei was amazed, even wanting to show the eternal life to see what happened, but he was disappointed, even the eternal life could not see this. How is the foundation stone of Xianmen formed? Master, got the stone of Xianmen, now you can open the dragon court, fight the front of the world, and reproduce the myth. The system sister suddenly said. Yes, I am also planning to do this. But this matter is not going to come, I have to solve the crisis of Tushan first. Longfei responded. Even if the system sister did not say it, he had already planned it. When the matter of Tushan was solved, he directly opened Longting and took the initiative. Moreover, there is a feeling in Longfei's meditation that the crisis of Tushan is not accidental. Perhaps it is possible to pass this trip of Tushan and have unexpected gains. Wow, my big brother is still very powerful. It seems that I don't have to find Qingqiu to help now. There is a big brother. The crisis of Tushan is completely fine. Suddenly, Xiaosususu said, his eyes are full of surprises. Longfei smiled lightly, step by step, just wanted to speak, suddenly felt in the system space. Qingqiu catalog suddenly flashed endless light, reloading again and again, seems to want to break through the system space. Long Fei glimpsed, his heart sank, his eyes fixed directly on the Qingqiu catalog. Brush it. One after another, the light shines on the Qingqiu catalog, and as this light appears, one page after another page appears directly on the catalog. Long Fei fixed his eyes and looked at it, and his heart was also puzzled. Starting from the Qingqiu catalog, in addition to triggering the Qingqiu mission, the Qingqiu catalog flashed a bit, and then there was no response. Now, this earth-shaking change has taken place, making Long Fei unexpected. This feeling gave Long Fei an intuitive impact, and there was still an expectation between the inexplicable minds. Hey, congratulations to the player to activate the Qingqiu catalog. Chapter 4778. Chapter 4778. Long Fei's heart was also a slap in the face. I didn't expect this task to involve so many things. Even saying that Long Fei never put this Qingqiu record in his heart, it seems that this Qingqiu catalog is definitely not simple. System Sister, what is the role of this Qingqiu record? Long Fei looked at the Qingqiu catalog that had been quiet, and asked. Master, this should also be a magic weapon. If you follow the classification of this world, it should belong to a kind of acquired spiritual treasure. The voice of the System Sister screamed, and the emotions were not shocked. However, it is no wonder that the system is supreme, and not all the power can enter the eyes of the System Sister. After the day Lingbao, Long Fei sneaked. For the mythical world of the wilderness, Long Fei's heart knows a little. This is an era of spelling magic. Although it is important to cultivate, the role of magic weapon is not to be underestimated. It can be said that a golden fairy, if it is in control of the treasure, can hang Tai Jinxian, or even face the big Luo, is not without the possibility of escape, showing the power of this magic weapon. How arrogant. It's like being in the middle of the gods, under the main door of the heavenly master. Sancha can rely on the magic weapon in his hand, and the 12 golden fairy ones have been cut off to the top 3 flowers, the 5 gas in the chest, and finally the saints personally shot, while they gave repression. This shows that the importance of the magic weapon is self-evident. It is precisely because of this that in this small place, there is a direct emergence of one of the Tianling Lingbao. Even Long Fei is shocked. Master, this Qingqiu catalog should be written by a big Luo Jinxian, which includes the origin of the spiritual fox family. It should be what they call the Qingqiu holy device. The System Sister said. What? This is the Qingqiu holy device? Long Fei was shocked, and was completely shocked by the words of the System Sister. I never thought about it, it turned out to be such a result. I didn't even think of the holy device that Xiaosu Susu had been looking for, but he was in his own hands. As soon as I read it, Long Fei's thoughts returned. At this time, Hu Xijing led several people, including the baby coagulation, and many of the foxes on the green hills came forward. Hu Sai Lao Lai Cheng Jing, naturally I can see at a glance, among the few people, Long Fei is the main heart, which is the key point of the Qingqing crisis. Hu Sai thanked the adults for their salvation. If it was not an adult, I was afraid that my Qingqiu would really be destroyed. Hu Sai said, the gratitude of the face, the ambiguity, the deep feelings. No problem, I have some relationship with you Qingqiu, it is also necessary to save you. Long Fei said. Long Fei did not explain too much about the Qingqiu catalog. Although the Qingqiu catalog is a sacred sect, it has now lifted the danger of the annihilation of Qingqiu. It is also a report, and it does not contaminate any cause and effect. In any case, if it is not an adult, my Qingqiu has already eliminated the family. If there is any dispatch in the future, my Green Hill will naturally spare no effort. Hu Sai said, a serious face. Long Fei nodded and was very satisfied with Hu's attitude. Although the other party is a demon, the temperament of this kind of gratitude is the heart of Long Fei. After all, in this world of strength and respect, there are not many people who can inherit the city of Kaicheng. Not much relying on the other side's cultivation, Long Fei really does not look at the eyes, he wants to repeat the myth. The other party does not have this qualification, involved in this battlefield. But Long Fei does not speak, but Xiao Susu is suddenly opening. Really? Old uncle, then use the Qingqiu sacred object for me. When the crisis of Tushan is lifted, I will send it back. Xiaosu Susu looked forward and looked at it. But at this moment, whether it is Longfei or Hu Sai, they all look at Xiaosu Susu. Longfei is helpless, but Hu Sai, but it is a painful grief, a look of grief. Hey, if my Qingqi holy things are still there, how can this group of people dare to bully us on the Qingqiu head? It's not awkward. As early as thousands of years ago, after the end of World War I, the spiritual fox family was once the target of the ancestors, and the gods did not allow it. If it were not the last ancestor of our family to exhaust the fox's air transport, do good deeds, and accumulate endless merits, I am afraid that it has already been annihilated. And this has led me to the genus of the fox family. Hu Xi sighed, and his heart was filled with anger. However, Xiao Susu is also silent, and she is also a spiritual fox. She can also feel this kind of bleakness. Xuanzang looked indifferent, but also showed some anger. And Xian Yu is even more unafraid of the anger in his heart. The sin of one person, the cholera family? Is this the so-called fairy god? Xianzong screamed, and his heart angered. As for Xiao Yue, it is very loving to hold Xiaosu Susu in his arms. Obviously, the experience of Linghu is also unbearable. Actually, it is not just a fairy god. I am afraid that the Yaozu will not be allowed to your spirit fox family. Long Fei said at this moment. Now, the Qingqiu catalogue is in your own hands. He naturally knows the extraordinariness of the Qingqiu catalogue. Although it is only a spiritual treasure, in the era when fengshui was just over, a godsend is enough to make the heavens and the earth be jealous. With the sin of the crime, the spirit fox family naturally became the target of public criticism. The adults said that the turbulence of that era can be said to be the end of my spiritual fox family, and it is targeted everywhere. The reason is because of the sacred objects of my family. But later, among the ancestors, some people did not want me to be a plaything, with sacred objects, and overlooking the void, which made the disaster of the Yaozu end. Hu Sai said. After listening to this explanation, everything will make sense. But unfortunately, the person who left with the Qingqiu catalogue had a bad fate and was directly suppressed in the Lock Demon Tower on the earth. However, as far as the Qingqiu catalogue is concerned, it is in his own hands. Longfei's heart also gives birth to a few points, and he does not want to see the Qingqiu pulse. One thought about this, said, you Qingqiu family can stay here for the time being. I will stand up to the Dragon Court in the next day, and I will lead you to the peak. Longfei said, looking at Xiaosu Susu, go, let's go to Tushan. Longfei said a word. The most urgent task is the crisis of Tushan. Even if the crisis of Tushan did not trigger the task, Longfei felt that Tushan had hidden a big opportunity for this mythical world and might promote the progress of his mission. But big brother, there is no Qingqiu record, my solution to Tushan can't solve it, the group of demon kings is very powerful. Ye's sister said that only by activating the power of the Red sister can the crisis of Qingqiu be saved. But there is no Qingqiu record, it can't be done at all. Xiaosu Susu said with a grievance, two big eyes tears and tears make people feel bad. Reassured, there is me, no one can move the mountain. Longfei domineering, strong and incomparable. Chapter 4779. Chapter 4779 Tushan, the war spread. Countless Tushan foxes have already died in battle, and the bonfire is filled with heaven and earth, and the corpses are everywhere, and the blood flows into the river. Xiao Rong, there is no news of Susu. A woman with a tall figure and a beautiful appearance asked. The body is covered with frost, and it is extremely cold. Above the corner of the mouth, there have been a few bloodstains, and the body's breath is also extremely chaotic, showing that it has been injured. No, this time I may have missed a point. All of our previous insistences are on the strength of the big sister who is activated in Susu. But forgot a little, that is, whether the sacred objects above the Qingqiu can be used more than Susu. Or, on the Qingqiu, there is still a holy thing. Behind him, another female fox said. This female fox is the one in the previous mouth. If Longfei is here, he will be excited, because the two people in front of him are Tushan Xiaoya and Tushan Xiaorong. It seems that this is the robbery of Tushan. However, if Susu is not there, I can avoid this disaster. If she is there, one day she will recover her memory. At that time, I still have Tushan. Hope. Tushan Xiaoya said. Everything can only look at God's will. Tushan Xiaorong said. Suddenly, the sound just fell, and a squeaky voice came from afar. Rumble. A group of black shadows fell and landed directly on Tushan. The enormous power directly destroyed the buildings on Tushan, and the slabs were annihilated and turned into a ruin. Tushan Xiaoya's face is cold, and the nerves that have just been relaxed are tight again. Jinli Demon King? They are going to fight the wheel, and they don't give us a chance to breathe. Tushan Xiaoya said. His face was gloomy. And as her mood changes, her icy demon power automatically works, making the surrounding atmosphere cold and incomparable. Wave. A crackling sound. I saw Tushan Xiaoya took a wine gourd from the waist, and then poured a sigh of relief, but because of the too much irrigation, directly involved the injury left by the previous battle, violent cough up. Xiao Ya, you can no longer fight, this time, let me come. Tushan Xiaorong said. You can't, you are Tushan's think tank. If it's not your layout, maybe we can't stick to it now. But if it's a real fight, even if I am seriously injured now, it is better than you. Tushan Xiaoya said. A look is determined. Hey. Tushan Xiaorong sighed, full of helplessness. Because Tushan Xiaoya said that it is good, on the combat power, she is definitely not a level worse than Tushan Xiaoya, and now, all her layout has been shattered under the tyrannical attack of the Yaozu, the rest, only the death-first battle. Rumble. Rumble. At this time, endless, like the gateway to Tushan, rushing. Ha ha ha, kill, slaughtered this group of Tushan spirit fox, male fox pass kill, female foxes have a warm bed at night. Trembling, mourn under the iron hoof of our colossus. If you don't know the fox, you will dare to resist in our colossus. The killing is the final ending. Kill. The giant statue roared, and the huge body vibration shook the earth, and the endless smoke was washed away in the void, which was extremely terrifying. And this kind of impact, for the current Tushan, is the end of the day. Unable to resist, cannot compete. Flee, this group of giants is crazy, and our countless people have died. Hate, for their greed, there is no end to the slaughter. What have we done wrong with Tushan? To be a big master, let's take a shot and save us. Tushan people have been messed up and madly fleeing. However, under the pressure of great pressure and violent waves, they escaped, and they were directly chased by giant elephants, stepping on their feet and directly breaking their vitality. Then, it was a series of screams that directly violently swelled, and countless Tushan Linghu were crushed and brutally wounded. At this time, the leader of the giant elephant family, that is, the giant demon king, also above the Tushan void. Tushan Xiaoya, don't make indifferent struggles, you are dead this time. You are surrendering to the king, the woman who is the king, you can still exist in the Tushan family, otherwise, kill the innocent. The king said that the huge body stood in the void and was extremely embarrassing. Fart, Julie, Tushan Xiaoya is the king. At this time, another rough voice appeared, surrounded by a colorful light, demon power swayed the world, and came here. This is a tiger into a fine, and a powerful demon king, terrible. Qing Li Yarrow Wang, you do not put this king in the eyes. Julie demon king face cold, demon power crazy surging, extremely dissatisfied. What can you do without being in your eyes? Anyway, you and me will have a battle. The 100,000 mountains can only have one master. That is my celebration of the demon king. Qing demon king Shen Sheng said, completely fearless, there is a big trend that does not match the trend of direct opening. Qing Li Yarrow Wang, Julie demon king, you said that you fight for contention. This Tushan is so big, in addition to the two masters, there is a small Luoli. When we are three people one, is not better. At this moment, another voice appeared. This is a long scorpion, wrapped in thick scales on the body, above the head of the horn, the black and black demon is scattered, and the peak of Tai Jinxian is undoubtedly obvious. Oh, then it is not an issue for the time being, first extinguish the Tushan and then say. Julie demon king snorted and stepped back. It's a good thing to say, then I will kill Tushan and say it again. Qingla Demon King also said, and then turned his eyes and looked into the distance. Tushan Xiaoya, give up the struggle. In front of the three of us, you have no chance of winning. If one-on-one, we may not be your opponent, but you are now dead and seriously injured, and the mana has already consumed half. In this case, it is definitely not our opponent. If you give up the struggle, Tushan can survive, otherwise, it will die. Qing Demon King said. In the distance, Tushan Xiaoya will cover the endless wine cellar and re-record it at the waist. Then, with both feet, force directly to the void, facing the three. That's a try. Tushan Xiaoya said. A faint sentence, a short 5 words, but revealed the persistence in the heart. Oh, I don't know how to be good. But you can rest assured that this king won't kill you, so a woman with a temper, it will taste more when conquered. Tigers scream. The giant demon king screamed, and the majestic demon force emerged from his body, and a huge tiger evolved in the void. Roar. The tiger rushed to the void, stirring the world and going straight to Tushan Xiaoya. Wherever the tiger passes, it is not a grass, and even the void is smashed, and the horror is abnormal. Faith and the world. Tushan Xiaoya Sakura lips lightly, the light blue gown fluttered in the wind, the performance of the face of the world is full of expression, but also a little more, the taste of the hero. Chapter 4780. Chapter 4780. As soon as the law came out, the power of frost spread directly across the void and spread thousands of miles. At the same time, Tushan Xiaoya's body has become huge, standing on the void, facing the fierce tiger. Hey! The tiger roared, stepping on one side of the world, and then leaping forward. It was necessary to throw Tushan Xiaoya. Give me a cold. Tushan Xiaoya Fa must be sure to speak with the law. As if a sentence directly mobilized all the coldness of the heavens and the earth, condensed in front of you. Hey! Thousands of miles of ice, thousands of miles frozen. The strong chill is falling from the sky, coming from the void, and the emptiness of thousands of miles is frozen. Even the powerful spells of the Qingla Demon King are frozen, and the huge tiger shadows are frozen in the void, motionless. Moreover, this frozen trend has not yet terminated and spreads directly. French phase is frozen. Not good, Tushan Xiaoya is trying to desperately. Julie Demon King reacted instantly, and the figure instantly exploded, going straight into the void, trying to escape the influence of this cold force. The same is true of the Qing dynasty king. The instantaneous cost body is leaping, like a real dragon, going straight into the void and darkness. However, the Qingla Demon King was not so lucky. Even though he had already perceived the power of Tushan Xiaoya, his distance was too close. Even if he realized it, he did not react at that time and was directly frozen. Brush it. The coldness of the cold is still spreading. Just for a moment, on the top of the mountain, it becomes a snow and ice, and all the invading giant elephants are all banned. However, Tushan Xiaoya is also uncomfortable. Even if it is a big move under the state of full prosperity, it will not last long. Plus, now that you are injured, you can make this blow, and you are forcibly desperate. Cough. Tushan Xiaoya coughed, bloodstains slipped down the mouth, and the momentum of the world was weak. Xiao Wei. Tushan Xiaorong spoke, and the voice revealed fear and intolerance. Go. After the Tushan, I will hand it over to you. Tushan Xiaoya said, clean and tidy, but in the eyes, very unwilling and unwilling. No, we must go together. We can't live without you. Tushan Xiaorong shook his head and said that he was determined. Go, Tushan Xiaorong, do you want to see the entire Tushan is destroyed? I can't hold on for too long, don't waste my pain. Tushan Xiaoya said, the expression is cold and frosty, almost stunned. Tushan Xiaorong still shook his head, tears in his eyes, and tightly licking the clothes of Tushan Xiaoya, full of disappointment. Tushan Xiaorong, I have exhausted the cultivation, and the law is the same, it is to fight for time for you. Now the 3 big demon kings are coming, I can't hold on. If you don't want Tushan to be destroyed in your hands, go now and leave with the still-lived Tushan Linghu. One day, the big sister will return, I will paint it won't die. But if you don't leave, the older sister will return, even if we are dead, it is also the sinner of Tushan. Tushan Xiaoya said coldly. The tone is full of dignity and long-term focus. Well, I am going. You can rest assured, I will wait for the big sister to return and avenge you. Tushan Xiaorong said, then turned and left. Tushan Xiaoya is slightly relieved, and the endless wine cellar in the back is directly suspended and automatically opened. In the future, I am afraid that I will never have a chance to drink any more. Tushan Xiaoya sipped a bite, with a touch of relief in the eyes, and looked at the Tushan people who were gradually away, and they were determined. But at this moment, a roar suddenly burst into the void. Rumble. Rumble. I saw that the Qingla Demon King directly cost and respected. Hey! With the collision of the Qingla Demon King, this endless ice is gradually disintegrated. Boom! A loud noise, the tiger's body of the Qingla Demon King directly broke the force of this ice seal and reproduced between the heavens and the earth. It's a good law, almost the same way. If the king has already touched the threshold of the big Luo, maybe today, it really has to turn over the ship in the gutter. But now, it's useless. Tushan Xiaoya, let's smash it, and become the woman of the king, otherwise, die. Qingla Demon King shouted, madness. Puff. On the other hand, Tushan Xiaoya's body was directly stolen. This is the most fundamental force in the world. She is now being demolished by the Qing dynasty Demon King, and she has naturally been countered. The old wounds have not healed, and then they have been countered, and the situation of Tushan Xiaoya has become even worse. However, Tushan Xiaoya's face did not yield the slightest, even with a touch of decisiveness. What about that? I will not destroy the mountains, and it will be you who will die one day. Tushan Xiaoya said, directly indicating his attitude, not falling. I don't die. Ha ha ha, you think too naive. Do you think that this time only the giant elephant family? My tiger family has long been outside the Tushan. As long as they walk out of Tushan, they are dead. The Qingla Demon King laughed and sneered at Tushan Xiaoya. The face of Tushan Xiaoya finally changed at this moment. She exhausted her heart and mana, and played the world of law, that is, to strive for a lifeline for Tushan. However, I did not expect that the other party even counted this point, which is equivalent to saying that today they painted Tushan, there is no life. At this time, huge battle volatility came from afar, accompanied by a burst of screams. Haha, have you heard that? This is the scream of your Tushan family. Do you still have to struggle? Now from the king, you have a lifeline in Tushan, otherwise, you are the culprits of the genocide. Qingla Demon King laughed aloud, on the body of the scorpion, showing supreme respect, as if everything is under his control in general. There was a despair in Tushan Xiaoya's eyes. I did not expect that she would use life to win the opportunity, so she was killed by the other party. Stop, you let them stop, I promise you. Tushan Xiaoya said sadly. At this time, she did not choose, in order to Tushan Fox, she can only promise. Well, haha, this is what the king wants. The tiger family, Lang Lang, can stop. Qing Li Yarrow Wang shouted and issued an order. However, the next moment, the face of the Qingla Demon King was wrong in the same place. It's not just him, even the giant Demon King and the Green King, and even Tushan Xiaoya are all awesome. Because, this screaming voice not only did not stop, but also more horrible, face into pieces. But this sound is not the Spirit Fox family, but the Tiger family. A fierce roar came from a distance, and then a giant tiger figure was overturned in the void, and finally turned into a fleshy rain, drifting over the mountains. You don't have to call, your tiger's son has been destroyed. But don't worry, soon, you will be below, Rei's family reunion. Longfei's voice penetrated the void and came at this moment. Chapter 4781. Chapter 4781. As early as before, when Longfei felt the icy coldness of the sky, he had already guessed what happened in Tushan. So jump directly with everyone's space and come to Tushan. It happened that Tushan Xiaorong was fighting the tigers. And the battle was extremely fierce, and many of the Tushan Linghu had already suffered from accidents and died on the spot. Seeing this scene, Longfei did not have extra considerations, and directly shot, together with Raytheon, Blush, and the alliance players in the Special Legion, put together to fight. Next, it is a reversal of the sky. With the shots of Raytheon, Blush and others, the entire battlefield is in their hands, and the whole process is ruined without any stalemate. These tiger demons, in front of them, are live targets, and even the battles are not counted. They can only be said to be unilateral slaughter. No, it's impossible, my tigers are so brave, how can they be defeated? I don't believe it. Qing Li Yarrow Wang's face changed dramatically, and quickly rushed to the void to see what happened. But the next moment, the Qing dynasty demon king screamed directly. Roar! I want you to die, you want to die. Qing Li Yarrow Wang cannot be suppressed, in the midst of it, direct violent. In front of him, the dense body is all the body of the tiger demon, blood flowing into the river, terrible. This time, he took all the tigers in the 100,000 mountains to attack Lushan, and he was prepared to return to Tushan, and then forced the giant elephant to become the only king of the 100,000 mountains. But now everything is shattered. The moment he was still the king of the top, in a blink of an eye, he became a polished commander. This series of changes directly made him crazy. So, go straight to madness, enter the violent state, smashing the past. I am going to fight you. Raytheon burst into a burst. This is his first battle into the world, just shot against the tiger demon, has made him feel the blood boiling. Thunder Tomahawk. Raytheon summoned the Thunder Tomahawk and smashed into the void. It's awkward. In an instant, the thunder rolled, the lightning and thunder directly fell from the void, directly drowning the Qingla Demon King. Roar! Qing Li Yarrow Wang was so angry that he was bombarded with the power of the endless thunder. Even if he had already reached the peak of Tai Jin Jinxian, he could not bear it. Humble human, you angered the king. Qing Li Yarrow Wang roared, hard thunder, want to rely on the strength of the physical body to break the power of this thunder. But the next moment, Blush shot. The power of twisting, regardless of how the Qingla Demon King collided, was firmly imprisoned on the void. And Raytheon is a bombardment once and for all, just the blink of an eye, the Qingli Demon King has been blown up by the thunder, the smashing head is ruined, the demon body has become riddled with holes, and even the breath is wilting. Raytheon is equipped with Blush, this kind of attack, it is almost indiscriminate law. Outside the void, Long Fei looked at the battle in front of him and gave a sigh of relief. It is a pity that the strength of the two men, against the Taiqing Jinxian Qingqing Demon King still has some gaps, can only contain the other side, but cannot kill. Big brother, save Xiaoya. At this time, Xiaosu Susu suddenly said. Long Fei's eyes turned and he was directly placed on Tushan Xiaoya. Is it so badly injured? This is the result of forcibly opening the world. She is fighting with the source of life. Long Fei said. With his experience, he saw everything at a glance. Without any explanation, Long Fei no longer cares about the battle here. There are Raytheon and Blush and there are 10 Alliance warriors who have already been dressed, not to mention a Qingla Demon King. Even if the other two are together, there will be no return. The next moment, Long Fei went directly to Tushan Xiaoya and took the medicine from the space. Come on, first eat the medicinal herbs to stabilize the injury, and when you recover, I will remove the hidden danger for you. Long Fei said. However, Tushan Xiaoya is a hesitation, and seems to have a bit of a slap on Long Fei. Xiaoya sister, eat fast. Rest assured, Big Brother is a good person, the crisis of the Qingqiu Yaozu is also solved by the Big Brother. You see no, these are the Big Brother's men, not all of them are powerful. Xiaosu Susu said with a nervous face. But there is still a hint of emotion in the vagueness. As if to say that all this is her credit, if she did bring the dragonfly, they will be in crisis today. Tushan Xiaoya looked at the little Luoli with a complicated look, then sighed and took the medicinal medicine and put it in the mouth. Cool. Can be turned into a blink of an eye. Tushan Xiaoya looked amazed. Unbelievable look to Long Fei. Is this an elixir? Tushan Xiaoya exclaimed, even more doubtful. Because of the entrance of this medicinal herb, her injury began to be repaired at a speed visible to the naked eye. This kind of remedy, in her eyes, there is absolutely no second possibility except for the elixir. Xian Dan? It is okay. Long Fei chuckled, not to be convinced. What is the standard of this mythical world, and Long Fei is not clear. But there is super alchemy in the process, Long Fei asks himself, Even if it is too old Larujun alchemy, Longfei is not afraid. Therefore, this medicinal herb is called the elixir, and it is not an exaggeration. Tushan Xiaoya saw the indifference of Longfei, and the doubts in his heart were even more intense. In her opinion, Longfei is too mysterious. Not only are there so many powerful men, but they are also taking out the elixir. This kind of person should not look at them in the eyes. At this time, the battle is still going on. The Qingla Demon King has already fallen into a state of collapse. Even though he is a strong man, he is now entangled by the power of Raytheon and the Blushing Witch. You two are still not shooting? If the king is dead, your results are not so good. Finally, the Demon King screamed at the void. In the distance, the giant Demon King and the Green King looked at each other. I don't know where these people come from, and their cultivation is not weak. Qing Yu Wang Shen Yu Road, obviously weighing the pros and cons. Don't think about it, the Qingli said. Right, if the Qingli is dead, the task that the Immortal gave us can't be completed, and it will still die at that time. Julie Demon said. Okay, then shot. Qing Ying Wang eyes condensed and made a decision. The next moment, the two shot at the same time. It's like going to the sky. Over the clouds. The two shouted and cast their spells directly. Booming. Booming. The horrible mana is soaring and rushing directly in the hands of the two. Raytheon and Blush face changed. They naturally can feel the horror of this power, just want to close their hands, but a sword light is broken. The two of them are handed over to us. The promise. Essence. Insight. Juggernaut and Genji shot at the same time, a sword sharp, directly against the two demon kings above the void. Sure enough, the hero of the League under the gods is the strongest force. Longfei blinked in the eyes, looking forward, revealing great expectations. Chapter 4782. Chapter 4782. The battle is still going on, but everything is the same, no difference. Everything is like the thought of Longfei, the two swords of Zhensheng Ji, now the real rise, all kinds of skills hard to smash the two demon kings and not weak. Who are you? Qing Li Yarrow Wang struggled and angered. Originally, the fighting power of Raytheon and Blush had already surprised him, so he could only hope to be on the body of Julie and the King of Green. Unexpectedly, two people out of the crowd casually can actually compete with the two demon kings. But destined, there is no answer to this question. At the moment when Longfei appeared, their plans were doomed to be broken. If Longfei wants to keep Tushan, there is no way to move the mountains. But unfortunately, if it was not the case of Tushan and Qingqiu, there was a dragon flying in it, and Tushan would not have such casualties. But now this result is already a blessing in misfortune. At least, Tushan Xiaoya is still there, Tushan people are still there, even if their homes are shattered, they are there, and it will take a long time to be repaired. Xiaoya, it is not clear, why did they attack Tushan? At this time, Longfei asked. Previously, there was a dusty monk who attacked Qingqiu. Now it is the three demon kings who attacked Tushan. If there is no common point behind this, Longfei does not believe it. Tushan Xiaoya's face was cold, and it seemed that he was so reluctant to be called by Longfei. However, he thought that Longfei had just saved her life and lifted the entire Tushan crisis. The rejection of the heart was a little less. It is not clear that the Yaozu of the 100,000 mountains has always been stable, and even the dust will not go to cholera, let alone attack other forces. And the appearance of these three demon kings is also inexplicable. I have never heard of these three people before, as if they appear inexplicably. Tushan Xiaoya said. Inexplicably, there is nothing in the middle. Longfei stunned. This answer made Longfei's heart also a move, and the intuition told him that this matter is not so simple. Yes, among the 100,000 mountains, these three people have never appeared. Moreover, the names of these three people are only in the legend of the Yaozu, and they have been suppressed by the heavens hundreds of years ago. Tu Shanxiao Ya said. Tianting. Interesting. Longfei said faintly. The demon king who has been suppressed by the heavens is reborn. If it is put into a modern mythological drama, it must be a world of discoloration, and the people are not happy. However, in this mythological world, there is no such thing. Heaven is the lord of the three realms. The demon king who was suppressed by the heavens still wants to break free from the seal and reborn. Non-existent. The only possibility is that heaven will release them. As soon as I read this, the dragon's mouth sneered in a sneer, stepping out and stepping directly into the battlefield. You retire. Longfei said faintly. Nowadays, this battle has already caused the thunder and others to boil, and has already ignited their desire to fight. This result is enough for Longfei. This is just to let them test the knife, the real battle, still in the future. And with Raytheon and others closing their hands, the three-player Demon King suddenly took a light pressure and was relieved. Hey! The three figures are directly gathered together and look at Longfei with a cold eye. Who are you? Qing Li Yarrow Wang asked, full of killing. The arrival of Longfei broke all their plans. It is impossible to attack Tushan, and even if they want to retire, it becomes extremely difficult. These people are too strong, just grab one out, they are all very sharp, and they don't have to be weak. More importantly, these people, more than 100 people, and the top 10, let them feel the heart tremble. Who I am not important, the important thing is that I am there. You want to move the mountains, it is impossible. Longfei said softly. Tai Jinxian may not be weak in this world, but there is no sense of existence in front of him. Good man, you think you are them, they have the strength to fight with us, what do you count? Do you dare to yell in front of us? In the eyes of the giant demon king, the shadow of the image is flashing, right? Longfei is full of hostility. Obviously, for Longfei, it is not at all in mind. Hey! Coldly screamed, Longfei's eyes locked the giant demon king. It seems that you have forgotten one thing. The arrogance requires capital. Obviously, you do not have this qualification. Longfei said faintly, step by step, his body suddenly increased. Boom! The violent breath directly rises out in the dragon's body, and the horrible power is instantly condensed on the void. This is Da Luo, God, how is it possible that Da Luo is not only in the fairy world? Impossible, this is absolutely impossible. Qingli Demon King was shocked in the eyes. At this moment, his heart was blank and everything was left behind. There is only one thought in the whole heart, that is to escape. Must escape. Just before Raytheon and others, they have already made them unable to stand up. Now, when the dragon flies out, it is a kind of crushing for them. For a moment, all the illusions in the heart vanished and were directly replaced by endless fear. Well, we are afraid to kick the iron plate and escape. Qing Wang screamed and ignored the two people. After one voice, he turned into a green body and took it away. And Longfei, looking at the direction in which the King of Greens left, his mouth moved. A young man, dare to make it in front of me? Zulong Yin, town. Between the backhands, Longfei took the Zulong seal out of the system space. Hey! Zulong printed out, a dragon smashed into the world, a dragon light and shadow, hovering over the Zulong seal, swaying the void. And the King of Qingying, under this power, is about to conceal the body of the void, but it is a stop of life on the void, and then screams, directly under the suppression of Zulong, falling heavily. Rumble. The Qing dynasty king's rapid pursuit, the hundreds of feet of the body directly fell on the 100,000 mountains. The power of this horror, even the 100,000 mountains, could not hold back, and was directly smashed by two mountains. Hey! But for Dragonfly, it has no effect at all. The glory of the ancestors, how great! Even if it is not in a world, Longfei is the ancestor of Wanlong, and has absolute control over everything that is in contact with the dragon. Moreover, this is still the life of Longfei. If you think, you can deprive the Dragon King of the Dragon King talent in an instant, expel the Dragon family sequence and directly turn it into a waste person. Aside, the Giant Demon King and the Green King are directly dumbfounded. They watched the Blue King, who was the same as the three-player Demon King. They were directly beaten into dead dogs, and the fear in their hearts rose directly to the highest. Especially the Giant Demon King, think of his own provocation against Longfei, this moment, it is even more dead. At this time, Longfei's eyes turned and looked at the Giant Demon King, remembering Lao Tzu's words, arrogance requires capital. And now, it's up to you. Chapter 4783. Chapter 4783. Longfei's voice was indifferent, and the words of Zulong's seal fell directly. Boom. It's like a god. The giant demon king did not dare to hesitate in the slightest, directly incarnate the image of the ancestors, and propped the ancestors to the void. But he couldn't help it. Even if he wasn't a dragon, the strong breath of Zulong was not something he could resist. Only in a moment, the giant body of the elephant is directly paralyzed, falling quickly from the void. Booming. The 100,000 mountains were once again split, and the body of the giant demon king was deeply suppressed in the mountains. No, don't kill me, I am a generation of demon kings. Julie Demon King lost the power of struggle, directly seconds, and begged for mercy. Longfei turned a blind eye and didn't care. Some things, if done, will pay a price. What is useful for spirituality, what is it used for practice? Since you slaughtered Tushan, use your life to pay back. Longfei sounds cold and kills. In the phrase, Zulong instantly expanded to a huge extent, directly into a giant mountain, and crashed down. Rumble. Another roar, the smoke and dust swayed the world, the stone was shot, it was like a catastrophe. Diligence, 2 interest, 3 interest. After the 3 interest, Zulong once again circling the void, filled with endless black light, and finally turned into a general size, returning to the hands of Longfei. Between the heavens and the earth, there is no trace of the power of the Demon King. Together with the king of the Qing dynasty, it has not been spared. Under this attack, it was annihilated. Qingla Demon King directly in front of Longfei. If he said that he was still trying to escape the moment before, then now, any thoughts are obliterated. Longfei is too strong, and they are so strong that they can't even escape. Adult, forgive me. We are also a last resort, and the same as the Yaozu. I have spent the rest of my life fighting for the rise of the Yaozu. How can I take the initiative to confront the Yaozu swordsman? All this is the master of heaven. If it is not the secret of heaven, how can my reverence kill the killer of the demon? Adult, I am innocent. Let me go. Qing Li said directly, squatting, seems to have suffered a lot of grievances. Longfei moves a meal, originally thought of not doing too endless, directly to the Qingli Demon King to kill, and then to explore other. Unexpectedly, the Qingla Demon King actually took the initiative to beg for mercy, and also brought out the things behind this. Of course, for the Qingla Demon King, Longfei only listened to one sentence, that is, behind the heavens. As for the other, Longfei directly ignores it. The Yaozu is bloodthirsty, especially the Qingli. It can be used for the purpose. Even if it is said, Longfei will not believe it. Longfei brother, he is lying to you. His heart is very resentful to you. At this time, Xiao Yue suddenly said. Longfei turned and smiled and nodded. I don't need Xiao Yue to say that Longfei's heart is clear. Such as the Qing Li Yarrow Wang, it is absolutely impossible to repent. However, because of Xiao Yue's words, Longfei is more certain. You are very good. The performance is almost even believed by Laro Tzu. If it is on Earth, the world owes you an Oscar, but unfortunately, when Laro Tzu is in the world, he has seen it more than 100 times of conspiracy. You are the trick, that is, the children are playing. Longfei said indifferently, and then did not show mercy, a punch. No. Qingla Demon King, roaring, desperately want to escape. Unfortunately, since Longfei has shot, there is absolutely no possibility that he will avoid it. Because the gap between the two is really too big, there is no comparability at all. Even if Longfei casually punches, killing Tai Jinxian is a breeze. Boom. Longfei punched the air and fell directly on the body of the giant Demon King. Hey! Immediately, I saw a figure directly cut through the void, and turned into a stream of light disappeared. However, Longfei does not worry about the existence of the Qing dynasty Demon King. And everything, just like the thoughts of Longfei, under this fist, the Qingla Demon King was directly pierced through the flesh, and it was already fragmented in the void, even the soul, was bombarded in the flesh by this power. There is no chance to even go out and become a fly ash. After doing all this, Longfei was silent. Tianting. It seems that this is not easy behind. Longfei thought of it. As for the 3 demon kings, they know absolutely limited. Therefore, Long Fei did not expect to get more news from them, knowing that there is a shadow behind the heavens. For Long Fei, it is enough. The rest of the people are handed over to you, one does not stay. In 3 days, pay 100,000 mountains. The descendants will not kill. Long Fei turned and looked at Raytheon and others, and told him. The 100,000 mountains are now the things of the Lord. The 3-player demon king is dead, and the rest are all ordinary demon, not enough. However, the purpose of Long Fei is to establish a dragon court on the 100,000 mountains. This is also destined to clear the 100,000 mountains. As for these Yaozu, Long Fei is never in the heart, and there is no place for them to stand in the Longting. After all, this is the beginning of Long Fei's battle in this mythical world. Some of the little demons are completely useless. The opportunity to surrender to them is already a great compassion. Yes, adults are assured that they will not disgrace their mission. Ha ha ha, adults say it is good, the world is really strange, the power is countless, I have a feeling that the glory and guardian we long for will come soon. Raytheon and the heroes of the League have sprung up and are very excited. Every one of them is just like playing chicken blood, and it is full of energy. Soon, these people directly retired and began to clear the 100,000 mountains. And Long Fei retreated to the side of Tushan Xiaoya and said, I will base on 100,000 mountains and stand up to the Dragon Court. At that time, it will definitely be inconsistent with heaven and other forces. I will give you a choice, follow me, I promise you Tushan, and immortality. Long Fei said. Although my heart has some small ideas about the 3 masters of Tushan, but now he is also the master of reenacting myths, certainly not too straightforward to say. Tushan Xiaoya's expression is a condensation, and seems to be thinking about it. Xiaoya sister, what else to consider? Big brother is so powerful, certainly can do it. And, if it is not a big brother, I have already been wiped out. Quickly promised my big brother. Xiao Su Su said on the side, this god assists, let Long Fei smile on his face. Tushan Xiaoya is still silent, and it seems that there is no heart to open. I can promise you, but you have to promise me one thing. Hesitating for a moment, Tushan Xiaoya said. What? Long Fei looked at Tushan Xiaoya. I need the sacred objects of the spiritual fox family. As long as you can retrieve the catalogue, don't say it is with you, even if you serve you, you will not hesitate. Tushan Xiaoya spoke, the tone is as firm as iron. Chapter 4784. Chapter 4784. Long Fei looked eccentrically and looked at Tushan Xiaoya. This request is really intimate. If anything else, Long Fei may feel too much trouble. But for this requirement, Long Fei has a feeling of ridicule. If Tushan Xiaoya knows that the sacred objects she wants have always been in her own hands, I don't know what to think. Long Fei thought of it, but his face was expressionless and quiet. Even if the sacred object is in the hands of the present, Long Fei will not take it out immediately. Instead, it showed a bit of hesitation and frowning, as if this request was extremely difficult. How? You can't do it. Tushan Xiaoya said coldly, as the atmosphere of his cultivation, the ice is very cold. Xiaoya sister, Qingqiu holy things are gone, the Qingqiu people said, you are not a big brother. Xiao Su 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 looked innocent and hugged for Long Fei. In her opinion, Long Fei is a savior. If it is not Long Fei, they will no longer exist. Therefore, the attitude of Tushan Xiaoya now makes her heart very dissatisfied. Shut up. Tushan Xiaoya snorted coldly, and turned a blind eye to Tushan Susu, still watching Long Fei. Dragonfly mouth slightly pick, okay, I promise you. But this thing, it takes a little time. Long Fei said. Tushan Xiaoya's mind, Long Fei can be more than half. She is so obsessed with the Qingqiu catalogue, fearing that it is the fundamental purpose, is to use this holy thing to let Tushan Red return. In this way, it is equivalent to completely obliterating the existence of Tushan Susu. In the case of Yu Long Fei, this little Luoli is naturally natural and happy, and if this is so, the consciousness will be erased and the heart will not bear it. Therefore, compared with Tushan Xiaoya, the power of Qingqiu's catalogue makes Tushan Red and Red return. Longfei's heart is more inclined to let Xiaosu cultivate himself and slowly awaken the memories of previous life. But now, what he needs is the method, so he did not take out the Qingqiu catalogue. Okay, but before that, I hope that you don't want to fight the idea of Lushan and Xiaosu, but also stay in our Tushan. Tushan Xiaoya said. He was alert to Longfei. It seems that Longfei helped them to solve the crisis, and no one gave her a good impression. This made Longfei extremely unexpected. According to common sense, the people of Tushan Xiaoya will never be so indifferent. No, there is a absolutely tricky. Longfei felt a shock in his heart. Then, Longfei looked at Tushan Xiaoya, but Tushan Xiaoya deliberately avoided it, and did not touch Longfei's eyes. In desperation, Longfei had to give up. At this time, Tushan Xiaorong came. As a think tank of Tushan, she is known as the demon of thousands of faces. How can she not see the current Tushan Xiaoya is not right? For Longfei, her heart is also full of gratitude. Xiao Rong thanked the adults for their rescue, Tushan up and down, grateful. But now, I am overwhelmed by the mountains, cannot entertain adults, but also hope adults to sin, Tushan Xiaorong said. Longfei didn't take it for granted. He looked at Tushan Xiaorong with great interest and took a look at Tushan Xiaoya, but he was silent. But this one action made the center of Tushan heart stunned, and an unprecedented panic appeared in my heart. I quickly said, Susu, with a few adults to go to the inner mountain to rest, the things here, just give us. Tushan Xiaorong said. Tushan Susu listened, his face was excited, and he said nothing, directly pulling Longfei to go inside Tushan, and Longfei did not refuse. After that, Xuanzang, Xuanyu and Xiaoye also went with each other. What Longfei didn't know was that at the moment when their figure disappeared, Tushan Xiaorong and Tushan Xiaoya's body disappeared in the same place. Deep in Tushan, under the tree of bitterness. Xiaoye, you are too impulsive. Do you know that if you anger this person, it is the real crisis of Tushan? He wants to destroy our Tushan, no effort. Tushan Xiaorong said, looking scared. I know. But, do you think that it is comparable to the existence of Xiandan? Will you be interested in us, Tushan? And, he wants to open a sect on the top of the 100,000 mountains. Do you think you will be willing to squat here? Look at it, he is very big. If I don't refuse, I am afraid that it will be involved in the future. Involved in endless disputes. Tushan Xiaoya said, a cold sweat fell from the forehead, apparently just the indifference is only strong support. Hey, you said it is good. He is too strong. Although he is casual between talks, he is full of arrogance. If he is a founder, he must have a plot. Tushan Xiaorong said, but finished after that, instead of Tushan Xiaoya's opening, he added, but we have not been spared from Tushan, the vortex has risen, he is the center of the storm. Since it has already involved the cause and effect, it is impossible to get out of this storm. Tushan Xiaorong said. What do we do now? Tushan Xiaoya asked. Let's wait and see. Maybe he will bring you a surprise. At that time, if he makes you become a bed girl, I see how you. Tushan Xiaorong said with a squint. Tushan Xiaoya's face was red, and it seemed to be punctured. And what they didn't know at this time, were all over the top of the mountain, and everyone who was above 9 days was in sight. This person is where? Heaven, Li Fu. The good and fierce means, the 3 Tai Jinxian, did not even break through a few interest. Yes, these 3 demon kings are what he released. The purpose is to let the Yaozu re-emerge and open the second battle of Buddhism. Before leaving, he also condensed the soul of the 3 demon kings into a life card. The purpose is to fear the accident. However, I did not expect that, in such a short time, the 3 demon kings died one after another, and even the death interval between the 3 did not exceed the interest time. Is it Buddhism? Shouldn't it? Buddhism's Buddha Bodhisattva does not shoot, the General Luohan can't have such a war. Can it be said that there is an invincible demon king between heaven and earth? The face is full of guesses. No, I have to look down the border. The eyes must be, immediately turned into a streamer, disappeared. At this time, on the top of Tushan. 3 days passed by, and Longfei looked at Raytheon and others who had returned, and his heart moved. The time has come. His time is not much. The sooner he starts the main task, the sooner he can leave this mythical world. After all, even if this mythical world and the ancient world have different time flows, Longfei does not want to delay for too long. After all, the huge threat of Longbation is like a scimitar with the same handle, suspended in the ancient world. Chapter 4785. Chapter 4785. Adults. 100,000 mountains have been cleared, all the Yaozu have been expelled, 100,000 mountains now, no one. Raytheon said, his face was calm and incomparable. He didn't know what Longfei was going to do, but he knew in his heart that the door to this colorful world had already opened. Next, it would be what Longfei said, leading them to kill the real god. Adult, isn't the war going to start? At this time, Dabarojan also asked. Yes, I will stand up to the world, and I will not let it go. No matter if it is a Buddha, I will not let it go. And by then, it is the beginning of your fight for me. But don't worry, with their high mentality, your first opponent will not be too strong. Longfei said. Since the 100,000 mountains and the 3 mountains and the Demon King have the shadow of the heavenly court, then they will kill the 3 Demon Kings, and set up the Dragon Court on the 100,000 mountains, and they will certainly not escape the perception of heaven. It's already expected to hit the heavens by the time. However, Longfei has never thought of concealing. His purpose is to repeat the myth, so the contradiction with the heavens is already doomed. Moreover, this game, Longfei has never thought of retreating. He just wants to be hard. Moreover, the system has paved the way for him, the Avengers, the Alliance heroes, and the former Whitebone Legion. This kind of foundation, if Longfei is to squat again, it is not Longfei. Moreover, he also expects that with the composition of heaven and Buddhism, he will not be put in his eyes. At first, he will definitely come in an absolutely proud manner, and it will happen to let these people adapt to the war in this fairy world. At this time, Xuanzang and Xian Yu and Xiao Yue came to Longfei with a small susu. They already know that Longfei will stand in the 100,000 mountains, and now that Raytheon and Blush are returning, it proves that everything is ready. Dragon, now will not be too hasty. You also said, behind the 3 dozen Demon King is the heaven, now you high-profile shot, the 3 Demon Kings killed, will the heavens be aware? He asked. Xuanzang experienced the most, and he was once a princess of the country. Later, he was an elder, considering things and being more comprehensive. At this moment, she is worried that Longfei is too high-profile and will cause trouble. Even if you know that Longfei means the sky, it is invincible, and there are still some concerns. I don't want to wait. Don't worry, your man never does things that are not sure. But also, even if I don't stand up, I will come as soon as I come. Soul, direct hard just. Longfei said. Then the eyes and a few people succumbed to each other, then they jumped, the dry land was picked up, and the flight directly to the void. Longfei stood above the void and looked at the 100,000 mountains in front of him. His heart was also excited. Longting was not the first time he started. After the world of stars and destroyed the world of stars and demon, he established the Dragon Court based on the Star Demon world. However, Longting in the WNJ was destroyed by the honor. But this time is not the same. Longfei has the cornerstone of Xianmen, and there is a lucky door, and it is only in this mythical world. There is only one purpose, that is, to fight for the final victory and to repeat the mythical world. Shanmenji Stone, stand. As soon as I read it, Longfei started the system space and directly took out the stone of Xianmen. Rumble. On the hands of the dragon, the stone of Xianmen appeared, and it was directly shining, shining and shining. Moreover, as if to declare the general, a majestic atmosphere, from above this cornerstone. I rub, is it fierce? Longfei was also seen in front of him, but also an accident. Originally, Xuanzang felt too high profile, and Longfei did not agree. But now this scene happens, that is, Longfei can't control it. This is not a simple high profile, but directly provokes the heavens and the Buddha, directly telling them that this mythical world will no longer be the 2 big ones, but the 3. It seems that the system has never been prepared to let yourself be jealous. This is to let me directly attack the wars of the heavens. Longfei felt a bitter smile. But immediately, the ambition is in the heart, there is no fear, and some are only the war of the sky. Hey! Never existed. Even if it is the gods of the gods, Longfei is never in the eye. This is also the best, anyway, the results will be the same in the morning and evening. Moreover, the louder the momentum, the easier it is to win the hook and know the news. Longfei thought, putting the unexpected emotion behind his head, and controlling the fairy door with all his heart. The cornerstone, the establishment of the Dragon Court. At this time, everything is as Longfei thinks, whether it is heaven or Buddha, it has caused a huge sensation. Rumble. On top of the Lingxiaobao temple, the Jade Emperor was listening to the things of all walks of life from all walks of life, but was shocked by the radiance of the sky. Then, on the entire Lingxiao Hall, it began to shake. Even Tianzhu began to shake. This is not the point. The most important thing is that the heavenly stone, which symbolizes the airway of the heavens, is suddenly flickering and faint, as if it was threatened by the eyes. Budget, someone actually established Xianmen in the Fairyland, and it is already strong enough to make my heavens affected. Who can tell the widow what is going on? The Jade Emperor was furious. He was the supreme of heaven and was closely connected with the heavenly stone. It was only a moment that he realized that there was more power between the heavens and the earth. But at this time, the gods of the sky are silent, a look of tension and doubts. The Jade Emperor can perceive it, but they know nothing about it. It's all in a state of arrogance, and I don't know what happened. Check, give me a check. Li Jing, the widowed person led you to 30,000 soldiers, the lower bound to check clearly, once it is true, immediately ruined, directly killing innocent. Jade Emperor killed and dissipated, angry said. Chen, the purpose. Li Jing did not dare to neglect. The Jade Emperor was angry and the world was discolored. Under the heavens, who dares to anger the three realms? Just a moment, Li Jing went to the lower limit of 30,000 days. And at the same time, the West Lingshan at this time. The ancestors of the Wanfo are as great as they are. Amitabha, the world is going to change, will the third robbery begin? As the words came, the face showed endless compassion. My Buddha, what is the saying? My Buddha is lucky to be in the air, why come to the robbery? Yes, Buddha, my Buddha's door has been preaching the world, and there are countless beliefs. Even if it is the Eastern heaven, it is not as good as my Buddha's door. How can there be a big robbery? Lingshan disciples did not understand, one by one said. However, it is a slight shake. No, just in time, the heavens and the earth have changed dramatically, and a force that has no need to be born has turned out to be shining directly. This kind of power is vast and incomparable. Compared with my Buddha Amitabha, when I first created Lingshan, I did not give up. It can be seen that between the heavens and the earth, there is another party. Once the sect rises, it will be a disaster. When the time comes, the spirits are smeared and the blood is smashed. For example, the sadness of a face. Amitabha, my Buddha, if this is the case, let the disciples shoot, kill the sect in the cradle, and live in peace. At this time, as if to sit down, a Buddhist disciple said. Chapter 4786. Chapter 4786 Endless Darkness, sees. Winning the hook on the throne of the white bones, lying on his face, lazy. However, for a moment, he suddenly stunned from the throne. Good boy, is this to be forced to the front and the heavenly Buddha? Even if I have been doing what I want to do but have not dared to do, you have done it. Winning a hook, but in the eyes is a happy. At this time, there is an endless sea of clouds, and a figure floats. Yes, it is floating. Step by step, go straight to the sea, go straight to win the hook. Winning a hook and a pick, a smile appeared, I know you can't help it. Win the hook and say. Of course, since the people who can be admired by you have already taken this step, how can the widows make people specialize in the past? Above the sea, a figure came out. How are you going? Asked to win the hook. Let's win big, fight again. The figure above the sea is faint. Winning the smile on the face of the hook, and gradually disappeared. Now is not the time, is it better to wait? Win the hook and say, "The time is not waiting for me." The struggle between the two gates of Buddhism and Taoism has already begun. If there is a fierce person between the two places today, if the widows do not shoot, they will fall behind. Said the figure above the sea. If Long Fei is here, I will recognize it. This person is not someone else. It is the emperor of the great Qin dynasty, winning. It is also true. You, such a person, dare to do things that I dare not do more than 2,000 years ago, let alone now. However, the road over the Styx can pass? Win the hook and say, "If he stops, 1,000,000 yin will break through the river." Win said that the tone is overbearing and unparalleled. Including the owner of the Styx, which is said to win the hook, it is even more able to feel the vibration of the heavens and the earth. To change the world, this round, the wheel should be my turn. This is the feeling of the Lord of the River. When it is, now, what I have realized has finally happened. This time, how should I choose this? Zhen Yuanzi holds the book in his hand, and his eyebrows are covered with clouds. Of course, all of this is not known. At this time, Long Fei is still immersed in the stone of Xianmen. The trough, the system is produced, and it is really good. This Shanmenshi stone can make such a great power. Long Fei's pupils tightened and felt the thrilling power of the eruption on the stone foundation of Xianmen. The power of this fairy stone is beyond the imagination of Long Fei. At this moment, the stone of Xianmen directly blew the world, and 100,000 mountains were instantly swayed. The horrible boulder is like a stalwart, standing between the heavens and the earth. Master, fast, mobilize the Xianmen air transport into the stone of the Xianmen. At this time, the system sister suddenly said. Long Fei nodded, no longer hesitated. Dantian moved. Xianmen air transport is like a flood of rivers and seas, from the Dantian rushing out, went straight to the Xianmen sacrifice stone. This Xianmen air transport, there are dusty sects, there are still martial arts, of course, more have been swallowed on the earth before. Originally, Long Fei thought that the power of this air transport was swallowed up by Dantian, and it was directly turned into nothing. It seems that this is not the case. This kind of power has been transformed into the power of Long Fei. Now, even if it is poured into the cornerstone of Xianmen, the body is still inexhaustible. With the continuous injection of the Xianmen air transport, above the stone foundation of Xianmen, it is even more imposing, and the lights are shining, the sky is shining, and the earth is shaking. The surging atmosphere makes it a place above the ground, becoming a huge center of engulfing, endless earth and earth power, and not being attracted to the general. On the basis of this Xianmen stone, there has also been a change at this moment. A road pattern appears under the impact of the Xianmen air transport, and it appears in the air. And this pattern, what is portrayed, is nothing else, it is the name of Long Ting. Roar. At this time, a dragon scorpion erupted from the stone foundation of Xianmen, and then there was a tens of thousands of golden dragons appearing, roaring for 9 days, as if reprimanding the heavens and the earth, highlighting Longwei. Long Fei saw everything in his eyes and his heart shook. This kind of picture, even if he is ups and downs, feels majestic. In particular, the 2 characters of Long Ting came out, and the golden dragon roared, and it was to set the momentum to the extreme, as if to declare war on the sky. On the top of Tushan, everyone has been stunned and stunned. The horrible momentum, this momentum overwhelming the world, he really did not plan. Tushan Xiaoya said. As he is, how can he be willing to give up? In this way, I am afraid that heaven is aware of his existence, and the land of Tushan is afraid that it has been involved in the storm. Tushan Xiaorong said. Both of them are extremely dignified. Such a big scene, they are unheard of. Even if Tushan Xiaoya is not weak, seeing this scene, my heart is also shocked. On the other side, Long Fei belongs. Raytheon, Blush, Alliance Hero, and even Xuanzang Xuanyu and Xiaoye are equally shocking. They know that Long Fei is very strong and know that Long Fei has its own purpose in this mythological world. But never thought about it, Long Fei was so violent, and when it came up, it made such a big battle. The grown-up is really an adult. I have a feeling that when the dragon is out, it will become the focus of the world. Raytheon said. Yes, in this case, The Buddha in the big population should be born soon? Crimson said, there is also a look of hope in the eyes. If they first follow Long Fei, they are trying to kill the threat in the dragon's mouth and protect the earth. Then this time, has long been convinced by Long Fei. Invisible, already has a sense of belonging to Long Fei. In their view, only with the dragon fly, can you settle all cholera and create a truly perfect world. Also, the heroes of the League at the moment are equally expecting. They are warriors and they are born to fight. In this moment, the war is soaring. If they were previously guarded by the loss of the mainland, then now, they will guard only one goal, that is, Long Ting. At this moment, Long Fei did not think about what they thought, because at this moment, the stone foundation of Xianmen has been completely stabilized, and on the top of the 100,000 mountains, the buildings are out of the air. Master, the foundation stone of Xianmen has been fixed, the dragon court constructed by the system has begun to be derived, and it will take a long time for Long Ting to be present. The voice of the system sister appeared again. Long Fei nodded, and his heart was immersed in the system, just to see a picture shining, just in response to the outside world of 100,000 mountains, emerging buildings. This is a gift from the system, or, from the beginning of the mission, the system has already planned everything. Time, 1 minute and 1 second passed. The 100,000 hills are still in full swing, and the magnificent and mysterious powers straddle the void, from the foundation stone of the Xianmen, flowing out and hovering over the 100,000 hills. And the 100,000 mountains, at this moment, also completely disappeared from the heavens and the earth, and there is only a **** of the dragon that screams and screams. Long Fei's eyes lit up, and he looked at the dragon court in front of him. His eyes flashed and he just wanted to open his mouth. The whole void was a thunder. The dense golden light descended from the sky. Suddenly, Long Fei turned and saw tens of thousands of gold armor soldiers descending on the void. Bold thief, under the heavens, dare to establish the fairy gate, the big rebellion. Then, a burst of drink, falling from the void. Chapter 4787. Chapter 4787. This scene is beyond everyone's expectations. It is the expression of Long Fei, which has become indifferent. The people in heaven are coming so fast. The dragon flies in the cold, and the heart sinks. From the beginning of the Long Ting, to the present, Long Ting, the time is only a few hours. I can't think of the people in heaven. Moreover, he is no stranger to the head. Handheld pagoda, waist and squatting demon sword. This standard, no need to think, is naturally Li Jing. The enchanting, among the three realms, the heavenly orthodoxy, anyone who wants to open a mountain, must go up to heaven. You dare to privately set up the mountain gate and have already violated the weather. I don't want to go to speed, I will go to heaven to sin. Li Jing said that a bureaucratic performance is extremely majestic. Please sin. Long Fei slightly sideways face, looked up at Li Jing, smiled at the corner of his mouth. He set up Long Ting, just to dry the heavens, and to marry the mountains. Please sin, how can it be? Why, you still want to struggle? This king sees that it is not easy to practice, and you don't want to kill innocent people, so I will give you this opportunity. But if you are stubborn, then the king will personally suppress you to the heavenly court today. As for the so-called Long Ting, it will also be a wasteland under one of my heavenly iron rides. And these people will also become my heavenly heavens, the soul of the gun. Li Jing said, a look of pride. It seems that I have never seen Long Fei and others in my eyes. Fart, you count something, and dare to talk to my grown-up. Yes, but also to destroy my dragon court, just by you? Don't look too qualified enough. Adult, this is the Buddha you said. Now, Long Ting is standing, I will wait for the battle, and raise my dragon. Long Fei does not speak, and the people below Raytheon and the Alliance can't stand it. Even they have never been aware of it. Invisible, they have already tied themselves to Long Ting. If you don't know how to be good, you will dare to swear when you die, and everyone will listen to the order and kill the evil spirits. Above the void, Li Jing sank and gave orders. Kill, kill, kill. The next moment, above the void, killing the earthquake, one after another, the golden armor descended from the sky. Long Fei fixed his eyes and looked at it. His voice did not move, and he moved with his hand. Kill. The lips are light, and Long Fei says a killing word. However, with the sound of Long Fei falling, the Jinlong, which had been resting before, was once again hovering out. Roar. Jinlong roared, and the dragon body directly rose into the sky and directly rushed into the heavenly camp of the void. Booming. In an instant, the violent Jinlong directly smashed the heaven camp, and hundreds of thousands of days would have no time to react, and it was directly knocked over by Jinlong. Then there was the sorrow. Ah, what is this? Dragons. How can the dragons be so powerful? Damn, the dragons are actually involved with this person. Does the dragon want to rebel? No, this is not a dragon. This is a kind of power, but it has turned into a dragon's shape. Countless days, the figure was knocked over and fell directly from the void. Even if the world escaped, it was full of horror. It was Li Jing who was also swept by the dragon at this moment. If it was not fast enough, the result would be no better. Damn, how can this person come to such a horrible way? Li Jing complained in his heart. I thought this time can be done easily. It has been counted to return to heaven and invite for merit. I did not expect that this time I actually met the iron plate. Haha, this strength, I want to let us confess to the heavens, stupid. You look so arrogant, let lousy boil, thinking that there is a hard fight to fight, but did not expect, so unbearable. It's just that it's unbearable. It's a weak blow. Adults haven't shot yet, they've collapsed. Above Tushan, all the people in Longting couldn't help but speak. Thinking of what Li Jing said at the beginning, I couldn't help but sing. And Long Fei sees everything in his eyes, and his mouth is moving, and his eyes are smeared. The heavens, but that's it. You have been comfortable for too long. No wonder the last battle between Buddhism and Taoism will be so bleak. However, this time, in front of my dragon court, you are even more vulnerable. Long Fei quietly opened. This dragon attack is naturally the means of Long Fei. Moreover, this is the latest power of Long Fei. This golden dragon is the derivative force of Long Fei's founding of Longting. It is gathered by the endless Xianmen gas transportation and is cultivated in the stone of Xianmen. Moreover, it is also linked with the power of air transport in Longfei Dantian. In a matter of seconds, a force of air transport gathers and flows in the body of Long Fei. In other words, as long as the dragon court is not destroyed, the power of air transport in Longfei Dantian will grow all the time. Of course, the most important thing is that this air transport dragon, the strength is very strong. Under the dragon fly, anyone who is hostile to the dragon court will be resisted. Just as now, when Jin Long came out, it was directly swept, and the heavenly generals of the whole heaven had no resistance in front of this power, and they could not be defeated in an instant. At this time, Li Jing's face is also very gloomy. The loss of heaven is too heavy, and the ridicule of Raytheon and others makes him even more shameful. Let's go, a group of enchanting, dare to arrogant in front of the king. Linglong Pagoda, town. Li Jing was furious and angered and directly sacrificed the exquisite pagoda. Rumble. In an instant, the exquisite pagoda directly became 1,000 feet in the void, and the power could be heavenly. 7 treasures and towers. Long Fei's eyes lit up. As far as he knows, this Chibao Linglong Tower is extremely extraordinary, but it is the treasure of the day after tomorrow. Among them, the heavens and the earth are created, each layer is like a small world, and the power cannot be underestimated. You know, this is the existence of a monkey. The enchanting, still not ignoring. Li Jing's face is arrogant and reappearing. It seems to be extremely confident about this exquisite pagoda. The dragon flies at the corner of his mouth, and his eyes are shining. 7 treasures are exquisite, although not very strong, but they are just thrown to Tushan. The next moment, Long Fei recalled the golden dragon, and looked at Raytheon and others. When you come out, this battle is the power of my dragon court, the heavens are committed, all left. As for this person, just give it to me. Said, Long Fei stepped out, went directly to the void, and stood opposite Li Jing. Oh, I don't know the so-called, I am exquisitely pagoda, under the Tai Jinxian, can directly surrender. Even if it is Da Luo, you have to avoid 3 points. Kid, you are too arrogant. Pagoda, town. Li Jing shouted. Immediately, the huge exquisite pagoda descended directly from the sky. But Long Fei, still very indifferent, looked at Li Jing with both eyes. You said it is good, maybe this Chibao Linglong Tower, under the Tai, did not survive. Even if it is Da Luo, you have to avoid it. But who told you that Lao's cultivation is under Da Luo? Long Fei sneered, and the breath of his body suddenly rose. Chapter 4788. Chapter 4788. The horrible atmosphere swept through the sky, and a violent momentum also broke out in Long Fei. Rumble. Originally, the exquisite pagoda that fell rapidly, at this moment, directly suspended above the void. And Li Jing, his face has become a bit white. This is impossible. Li Jing kept retreating and looked at the dragon flying in front of her eyes. The pupils were tight and full of fear. His cultivation is already the pinnacle of Tai Jinxian. However, the breath of Long Fei made him appear an impulse to worship. Just breath, let him feel the pressure. De Luo, no, Da Luo is not so strong. Who are you? Li Jing was shocked and watched the Chibao Linglong Tower, which was forced to stop by the breath of Long Fei. The eyes had already revealed fear. This scene has already made him clear that Long Fei is definitely not able to compete with him. In this spelling treasure, the world of spelling power, the breath of Long Fei is completely crushed against him, and his magic weapon is completely like a dummy. In this case, it has been shown that in front of Long Fei, he is completely only slammed. You have not seen it already? I just set up Long Ting. Who am I? I am naturally the Lord of the Dragon. Long Fei said, understatement. As for the Chibao Linglong Tower, it has been completely pinned by the breath of Long Fei, and it is impossible to go further. At this time, the battle below has also been fully launched. Even Xuanzang and Xuanyu are among them. This so-called heavenly, the most powerful is only the Jinxian cultivation, but the general is only the realm of heaven. This kind of existence, for people like Raytheon and Blush, can be spiked between hands. Rumble. The power of the thunder formed a large-scale annihilation at this time, and countless days will be directly turned into fly ash under the terrorist attack of Raytheon. The power of Blush is also not to be underestimated. When the power of distortion is moved, the sky will be directly bundled, and then it will become the lamb to be slaughtered, and there is no power to fight back. In addition, the League hero is also brilliant. The barbarian Wang Dajiao opened, and the undead body was in the middle of the sky. Every time the knife in his hand waved, he could take away a piece of heaven. The letter of the long gun is like a dragon, sweeping the void, and shooting a little, it will destroy a group of angels, even more terrifying, or Xuanzang. At this time, Xuanzang seemed to have launched a killing mode. One Buddha statue was condensed in his hand, and then the Buddha appeared and slaughtered. This state is that Long Fei can't help but look at it. It seems that there is a story in Xianzong's heart. The trough, this killing, ruthless, cruel. Long Fei's heart whispered to himself. Looking at the Xuanzang killing special kill, I have already guessed that Xuanzang had in this mythological world what must have been experienced. However, it is not the time to pursue these. After all, Long Ting is standing, and Tian Ting is coming to the door. In this battle, Long Fei believes that there must be countless pairs of eyes staring at the secret. Therefore, the purpose of Long Fei is to be violent. In the absolute crushing posture, the heavens will be shaken back. Right now, Xianzong and others have done their perfection. The so-called heavenly kings, in front of them, are completely furnishings, basically unilateral slaughter. Those who are not in the League who have not got the Assembly of God are all fighting hard and fighting. The only thing left is Li Jing. One thought of this, Long Fei's body was shocked, and he reached out and directly grabbed the Chibao Linglong Tower. Li Jing's eyes widened and his eyes were full of shock. From ancient times to the present, even if it is Da Luo, he is completely afraid to use his own physical strength to harden the Chibao Linglong Tower. This also gave Li Jing a hope in his heart. The next moment, Li Jing glanced in his eyes. Ha ha ha, you are too arrogant, you want to harden my pagoda with the flesh. If you use your mana, maybe today the king really want to be planted here. But you don't know how to live and die now, you want to touch my exquisite tower with your own flesh. It's really looking for death. The fire of Jin Wu, drop. Li Jing handcuffed the law and directly ignited the exquisite pagoda. Boom. The sound of Li Jing fell, and the entire Linglong Tower turned quickly. Moreover, above the bottom of the tower, there was an infinite flame jet. The fire of Jinwu. Long Fei is not afraid, with his physical strength, not to mention the fire of Jinwu, even if it is on the sun, there is no pressure. Is the three-legged Jinwu, and dare to make it in front of me? Give me off. Long Fei sighed coldly, reached out and explored directly into the endless flame cracking. A scream appeared, and I saw a three-legged flamingo in the hands of Long Fei being held tightly in his hand. The tribes of Jinwu were so miserable that they struggled in the hands of Long Fei, and the fire was filled with the whole void. But it is useless. In front of Long Fei, this power is totally worth mentioning dead. Long Fei's power in his hands, the power of creation, surged out of the palm of his hand. Hey! A sword light flashed, 3 feet Jinwu, directly pinched his head. The fiery flame is still spreading, but at this time, with the three-legged Jinwu being destroyed, it began to converge, but for a moment, it disappeared without a trace. And the exquisite pagoda, the bottom layer has also completely lost its divinity and become bleak. Yu Li Jing is very incomprehensible, and he does not say anything. He looks at his own magic weapon and even cuts off his divinity. His heart is so painful and bloody. What are you? I am standing in the first place, and you will lead the people in heaven to come to the door. This result is also what you are looking for. Today, use your life to sacrifice the flag for my dragon court. Long Fei said quietly. After that, a punch hit and blasted directly to the Chibao Linglong Tower. Boom. The punch is unparalleled, and the power of many rules is noisy in the power of creation, and the atmosphere of destroying the earth is destroyed, and it breaks out in the void. Do not. Li Jing shouted. This punch really made him desperate. This horrible power made all the hopes in his heart instantly disappear. Just the breath, he has already made him feel the boundless horror, as if it is the sky, under this fist must be pulled out of a hole. He seems to have seen his own end. At this moment, he could feel that under the fist of Long Fei, the Chibao Linglong Tower had already broken away from his control and became the ownerless thing. Even his gods could not be motivated. You have already provoked the majesty of the heavens, waiting for it, the king will return to heaven, and will lead the heavenly gods in a day to completely attack you. Li Jing is desperate to speak. At this moment, there is no possibility of any reversal. There is only one way in front of him, only to escape. Go! Are you going? Blush, Xuanzang, stop him. Long Fei screamed openly, and then he had no side to heart, and he took control of the world and punched it to the exquisite pagoda. Xuanzang and Yanhong heard it, did not hesitate, and immediately shot. The power of twisting and the fullness of the Buddha in the sky shrouded the void and severed Li Jing's way of retreating. And Long Fei's punch was finally in the middle of the exquisite pagoda. Boom. Chapter 4789. Chapter 4789. The power of terror broke out immediately at the moment when this punch collided with the exquisite pagoda. The raging air and waves directly swept the void, and the brilliance of the brilliance directly dyed the void into white, which was extremely incomparable. Hey! The exquisite pagoda was directly blasted, the original shape was revealed, and the remaining 6 treasures also floated in the void. Long Fei couldn't help but say that the big hand was a volume, and all these things were directly taken away. Right, vertical. Actually ruined the king's pagoda, this king vowed to smash your body. On the other hand, Li Jing, at this time, was even more damaged in his mind, and he was countered, angered, and a mouthful of blood spewed out of his mouth. Are you still unable to see the situation now? The whole heaven, except you, no one survives. In this case, how dare you cry? And, do you think you still have the opportunity to go? Without the exquisite pagoda, you are the tiger with the teeth, the phoenix that has lost the hair, even if they are, it is easy to think of you. Still want to return to heaven? Wishful thinking. Longfei said silently, no mercy. Ah, enchanting. Do you know what you are doing? You are blaspheming the gods. If you dare to shoot the king, the heavenly sage will not allow you. Li Jing continued. The violentness of Longfei has completely chilled his heart. Such people are fearless, the heavens are not taboo, the gods are indifferent, and they are completely lawless. He can feel that Longfei never intended to let him go. Looking at the already deadly sky, watching the land where God's blood fell, watching the picture of the corpse across the field, Li Jing's heart is even more painful, fell to the bottom. All things, all announced, these are the fate he is about to face. Sage. You look at the heavens too heavy. Longfei opened his mouth and snorted. Heavenly saints have long since surrendered to heaven and earth, and heaven is nothing more than an organization that controls the people and shepherds all things. Moreover, until now, Longfei has never felt the slightest breath of the saint. With what I have done before, if the saint really exists, I am afraid that I have already come to obliterate myself, and I am still threatened by Li Jing. Therefore, Longfei has long concluded that the saint of this mythical world must be involved in something and cannot withdraw. And this is also my own opportunity. You must also improve your strength as much as possible before the saints appear. It is precisely because of this, Longfei will be unscrupulous. Oh, I don't know what is called, the power of heaven, you can imagine. There is nothing to say about this king's defeat in your hands today, but don't think that my heaven is unavailable. Others don't say it, it's me, it's the invincible ***** of heaven, even if you are a big luo, you have to bow down in front of me. So, if you dare to move me, just wait to bear my infinite anger. Li Jing said again. Longfei's expression is a move. What about you? Where? Longfei asked. Yes, it seems that you should also understand the reputation of my child. Tell you, my children are going to worship the three altars, the magic is boundless, the magical powers are vast, the magic weapons are all top. If you are interested, let me now. Otherwise, my child will definitely break your dragon court, demon slayer. Li Jing said that the hope was rekindled in the eyes. But he did not know, the reason why Longfei exclaimed was only because the character, who is too familiar with his cognition, nothing more. But it is impossible to threaten Longfei with this. Oh, I have to see what kind of supernatural power you have. Longfei sneered. Immediately, the eyes are condensed, and the killing is condensed. Longfei whispered, and then the scorpion sword screamed out of the system space and landed on the dragon's palm. Your child's magic weapon is more powerful. Can you compare my long sword? Longfei asked a question, followed by a sword volley, and cut it over to Li Jingwei. No, do not want. Li Jing roared constantly, and this moment, death came. The figure of Longfei was infinitely magnified in his pupil. This sword has also become a sword of death hanging in his heart. He has a feeling that as long as this sword falls, I will completely scatter my soul, even if there is a god, it will be completely annihilated and will cease to exist. Everything has been fixed, there is no room for maneuver. Since Longfei has already shot, he will never be merciless. Yes, at this time, the change is sudden. A red dragonfly descends directly from the sky, smashing through the void and colliding. Boom! The incomparably huge force erupted above the red dragonfly and directly collapsed the flaming lotus in the sky. It was the distorting power of the blush that could not be stopped and was directly forced back. Hey, go, let me hear. A voice appeared, and immediately appeared a figure, appeared out of thin air, and then a long gun in the hand. The life will be blocked by the sword of Longfei. Mixed days. Where? A dragon flies, and the sword in his hand is closed. At this moment, Longfei looked at the repairs of the dragonfly at a glance, already on the Tai Bi, the early days of Da Luo. This kind of cultivation, in the mythical world, is already considered a master. The sword that I had just made was just a matter of hand. It was more than enough to kill Li Jing, but it was normal to be blocked. Where a face is dignified, watching Longfei, full of bad. What he didn't know was that at this time, Longfei's heart was also touched. Because, in the world under the eternal life of Yongsheng, that is, the world where Xuanzang is located, Long Fei accidentally obtained a son from the system. And that son, what is it? Although Long Fei knew that there was no dime in his relationship with his son, but love the house and Wu, still cannot help but leave their feelings. But that's it. At this time, the face of the skull is still very dignified. With Long Fei playing a fight, he can clearly perceive that Long Fei's strength cannot be seen at all, even if he is already a big luo, but still not enough to see, there is no comparable. Moreover, the long sword in the hands of Long Fei also exudes endless power, which makes him feel unlimited pressure. The enchanting, you dare to kill the heavenly gods, and sin is not forbearance. Moreover, the 3 people of the Qingla Demon King are also killed by you. You can know that their actions are the meaning of the Jade Emperor. If you kill them, it is tantamount to heaven. And, you dare to ruin my father, the magic weapon, sin +1, if you confess your sins now, this god sees that you are not easy to practice, maybe you can open your mouth, ask for mercy for you, and let you be an official in heaven. Which said. But Long Fei is a smile. Let him go to heaven to be an official. It's just a slippery world. His purpose is to overthrow the heavens, repeat the myths, and the fate between heaven and heaven has already been doomed. Moreover, the front of the eyes, and Li Jing, always adhering to the taste of high, is really annoying. In the past, I have wanted to spare you a life. But you are too much nonsense, which makes me very disappointed. Surely, you will be directly smashed, and my son will be brought over and let him replace you and become the invincible **** of war in these 3 realms. Long Fei's heart must be cold, and he said, opening his mouth. Chapter 4790. Chapter 4790. I have to say that the way of playing, let Long Fei be very disappointed. In particular, the attitude of the embarrassment is completely unsettled, and it is far from the god of war in my mind. Therefore, between the thoughts, Long Fei's heart gave birth to killing. As he said, since this one makes you dissatisfied, it directly creates a plaque. Master, be careful, I feel that 1,000 miles away, a strong breath is rushing here. But at this time, the voice of the system sister suddenly said. Strong. Long Fei doubts, slightly frowning. Yes master, this breath is extremely powerful, even if you repair all the seals, I am afraid that it is equal to the other side. The system sister said. When Yang, Long Fei sinks down. The system sister said it was very subtle, because there is no better means than the system sister. If you repair all of them, the firepower is fully open, even if it is a saint, Long Fei has the confidence to fight. But now the system girl is quite equal. The word is too embarrassing, meaning that it is not easy to fight. Is it a saint? Long Fei asked again. No, according to the analysis of the data of the saints who were killed by the previous masters, the existence is stronger and more horrible than the coming person. The system sister said. The trough, the saint is so powerful. When the voice of the system sister fell, Long Fei was shocked. Before, he always thought that if his own repairs were all unsealed, plus his own means and cards, even if it was not the opponent of the saint, it would not be impossible to fight with one. But now from the words in the mouth of the system sister, but the power of the saint is much stronger than the present. Master, I have analyzed it before. According to the data, the power of the saint, and your peak state, should be half a catty. However, when I entered this world, I discovered that the other party seems to have more powerful and terrifying power. The system sister said. But what is the specific strength? But the system sister did not say much. Long Fei's face was slightly silent, looking at where to look, and looking at the void, and sure enough, seeing a light spot, smashing the void, the Buddha's glory is full of darkness, slowly coming. The people of Buddhism are coming too. According to the system sister, this special thing is not going to be like it. Long Fei guessed it. Among the Buddhist monks, there are really a lot of masters, but if they are really comparable to the quasi-holy, there are very few. Therefore, the first thought is that it is coming. At this time, the opposite side, obviously there is a bit of excitement on the face. The people of Buddhism are also coming, enchanting, and you will be stunned. This time you absolutely have no possibility of surviving. He said, hard to get angry. It seems that the arrival of Buddhism gave him great confidence and no longer feared Longfei. So what? I am standing up. Do you think that I will not consider this result? Dragon is destined to overtake the heavens and the mountains, whether it is heaven or Lingshan, and I have no fear. Longfei said with a sneer. This has been doomed from the beginning. As for what drove the wolf and swallowed the tiger, Longfei never considered it. His world has only one word, and that is dry. Whether it is heaven or Lingshan, as long as it happens, it is dry. Let's go, you know what you are doing. Whether it is heaven or Lingshan, it is the three realms. You don't know where to come from, but you are so arrogant and self-seeking. He said, tough. It is not exactly the same as before. A Buddhist monk makes you so confident. In this case, you will stay today. The sound of Longfei is heavy, and the sword is moving. Brush. Fire tip gun. I didn't dare to neglect, and I never thought about it. Longfei was so daring, and the masters of Buddhism came to the scene and even killed the killer. Hey! The sorcerer's sword is so unstoppable that in the moment of contact with the fire tip gun, it will burst into the sky. But this time, Longfei did not stop. Hey! Where the fire-pointed gun instantly came out, and the whole person was bombarded by the power of this sword. If it was not the key moment, it was caught by his magical hot wheels, fearing that it had already fallen into the void. Puff! Where vomiting blood, looking at the innocent, without the slightest impact of Longfei, my heart was shocked. This sword, he did not resist here, even the gun could not hold. If it is not a critical moment, take the initiative to let go. Now the entire arm has been shattered by the power of the sword. That's it, the blood still flows down his arm, and the block can't stop it. How could this be? Who are you? He is ashamed and angry. He is the ***** of the three realms. It is the era of the gods, and there are only a few flesh-blooded gods. Especially after breaking through the big Luo, it is even more invincible. In recent years, there have been countless demon kings, and the battles have been famous. Otherwise, he will not care about the death of the three demon kings, but personally lower bounds. For that, it is just for yourself. But now, stealing chicken does not erode the rice. Why, this can't stand it. The three realms of war, but this is the case. Dragonfly. This is really a big gap with what I think in my heart. However, it can be understood that entering the heavenly court, in this big era, it will be imaginable that it will become like this. Hey, you are too arrogant, you are just relying on the power of the magic weapon in your hand. If you don't have this long sword, I will be a real fire, and you will die. Which is not willing to accept the loss, speech stimulation. Longfei smiled. I don't use treasure, you are also a breeze. However, I will not kill you now. Are you not holding high hopes on Buddhism? If someone who is not a Buddha is coming, will I die? That day, I will let you have a good look. How is the Buddha giant? How was it blown up by me? Longfei said. After that, the figure turned and looked at the void. At this time, there is already a Buddha light above the void. Obviously, the Buddha has arrived. The obstacles, the daring of cholera, the tranquility of the three realms, the self-reliance of Xianmen, but also the death of the sin is not forgiven. A business has emerged. Magnificent and full of majesty. This is the unique power of Buddhism, which implies a kind of great compassion and arousing people's minds. Longfei's eyes were slightly wrong, but soon, in Dantian, a force surged, making Longfei recover from the Qingming. Buddha Fanyin? Good spell magic, but unfortunately, useless to me. Longfei no longer cares about what he is, and his eyes are locked in the people of Buddhism that appear in the void, faintly opening. There are a few magical powers, but the enchanting is the enchanting. In front of this seat, I dare to let go. In the void, the voice of the people in Buddhism fell again. Then, a golden light flashed and the figure appeared. The Bodhisattva of the Manjusri, the Buddha of the fructification, today, is the life of my Buddha, destroying the enchanting, and clearing the heavens and the earth. Chapter 4791. Chapter 4791. Buddha light vents thousands of miles, under one person, All beings have no sound. The appearance of Manjusri made the battle in the field stop directly. What is even more terrifying is that the bodies of the people in the heavens that have already died in battle have disappeared from the air at this moment. Under the cover of the Buddha's light, the Yuanshan recovered. Longfei's eyes narrowed and he looked at Wenshu, and the war was breeding. I have to say that Manjusri is very powerful. Amitabha. At this time, Wenshu said a Buddha number, and behind him, the tens of thousands of days of the Yuanshan reunited and stood behind him. In the distance, his eyes became cold and a bit cold. Just a moment, he was suppressed. Thank you for Bodhisattva, let me heaven and earth will not destroy the gods. He said, the expression is really incomparable. But Longfei, but a sneer, the gods are not destroyed. At this moment, they have long since disappeared, and this is what they are condensing. It is their divine power. It is indeed more powerful than the incense of the gods. Longfei sneered. Between the Buddhas, Tianting and Lingshan, on the surface, are safe and sound, and they are happy, but since the death of the gods, the Buddha's birth, the relationship between the two has been doomed. Longfei does not know whether there is a journey to the west in this world, but if it is really, I am afraid that it is now Tianting and Lingshan, and it has already been dark and raging. Therefore, at this moment, Manjusri is definitely not so kind, and it costs manpower to help the people in heaven. But at this time, by the words of Longfei, Wenshu's face did not change at all. This seat condenses their souls, but it's for a cause and effect. Let them watch. You are enchanting, how to be killed by this seat. Wenshu said that the tone is full of calm. I really don't understand. You have a wall of grass, what is good? Longfei did not shy away and said, Manjusri Guangfa Bodhisattva, not others, official Wenshu, Guangfa Tianzuan, one of the 12 golden cents. However, after the gods were sealed, they were fooled into the Western teachings. This became the current Manjushri. This kind of existence will be a little shameful for the past life of the dragon. Now that you enter the mythical world, there is naturally no goodness. Let's go, all the heavens and the way, you can't believe that you are a yellow, 7 treasures, lotus. Wenshu was furious and angered. He was uncovered by Longfei and could not stop for a moment. Boom! Jinlian stood up, and a majestic breath burst out from it. This breath is extremely heavy, solemn, but full of a kind of compassion, coming down. Crazy Dragon Town. Longfei did not dare to neglect. Between the backhands, the scorpion sword was replaced by the blade of the king, and it was cut out. This Manjusri is a Buddhist man, and is a giant in the Buddha's gate. A bodhisattva, the horror can be imagined. In addition, the system sister has already told that Longfei naturally has prepared for it, so at this time the other party took a shot and Longfei responded. Although the sorcerer's sword is violent, but the fierce turmoil, the breath of this Buddha's door is just suppressed. The anti-viewing king's blade is the most appropriate at this moment. Booming. With a knife out, the tens of thousands of mad dragons come out and soar. Roar. The town's mad dragons rushed directly to Chibao Jinlian. Dragon. Manjusri's face was a slap in the face, watching the reloading of the town's mad dragon, killing one in the scorpion. No, it's just a means, a ferocious breath. Wenshu's heart is not to be underestimated. The light of Jinlian, hey. With a big bang, Manjusri also had no reservations and let go. Brush the brush. As the Wenshu voice fell, Chibao Jinlian began to change suddenly, directly into a huge Baolian, standing on the void. The horror power can burst from it, forming a mana certificate, blocking the town's mad dragon flying. Hey! The mad dragons in the towns are constantly bombarded, colliding with the power of the 7 treasures, and even the voids are collapsed in an instant, which is extremely terrifying. Is this his strength? How could it be so powerful? Even a big Luo Chifeng, half-step quasi-holy, are hard to come by. Below, where is already stunned, at this moment, in addition to shock, his heart is glad. Under this power, he already knows that if Longfei wants to kill him, he can lose his strength with a single knife, and there is no chance for his face to shoot. The next moment, where to look into the void, wait quietly. However, at this moment, Li Jing's figure has already slipped away. Or, when he appeared, he was able to get out of it, and he did not stop for a while and fled directly to heaven. At this time, the dragon blade in the hands of Longfei was waved with a knife and a knife. The hard turtle shell, mother, even the edge of the king cannot open. Longfei's heart is also secretly wondering. In my heart, I have a higher look at the ability of the system sister to reverse the day. If it is not the system sister to inform in advance, I am afraid that I will not be so seriously treated. If it is too general, maybe it is possible to overturn the ship in the gutter. It's useless. My Qibao Jinlian is a Buddha's treasure. If you have a seat, you must cultivate and condense. It is a belief that brings together the world. Even if your strength is stronger, there is no point. Wenshu said. A contempt in the eyes. Longfei is cold-eyed and does not say a word. The words of Manjusri are not simply, because Longfei has already felt that the power of the mad dragon is already dissipating, that is to say, this knife is useless for the Qibao Jinlian. Useless, then continue. Kowloon Royal Sky. Longfei shouted, and the power of the king's blade condensed and fell again. Boom. For a moment, the town's mad dragon disappeared and replaced by 9 giant dragons. The figure of Longfei is also standing on the top of the middle of the giant faucet, holding a giant blade and cutting it out. Oh, Lololane. The blade of the king erected the void, and it was full of tens of thousands of knives, and the knives were worn, the stars were dull, and the heavens and the earth were eclipsed. Even the heavens and the earth are silent at this moment, everything is illusory, but this knife is eternal. It can be said that this knife contains the invincible will of Longfei, and I am supreme. The power of horror, the adults are angry, and the thief and the monk will die. The people in this world are really strong enough. We have to let the adults help us improve. Otherwise, we will not be able to fight this kind of battle. If the adults used this method when they were dealing with us, we feared that we had already died. Below, the people in the league stunned and looked at the knife, and the heart trembled. As for the gods of Leish and Xianzong, I am the same, and all of them have a shocked expression. This power is too strong enough to kill them. On the top of Tushan Xiaoya's face finally changed, that is, when Longfei violently abused Li Jing, when she lost a sword, she did not have much expression. But now, in her eyes, she is constantly shining. Good. Tushan Xiaoya snorted and looked at the dragon flying above the dragon and smashed the gods. This is the charm of a man. It can be said that now that the dragon is flying this knife, the heroic and shocking world has already attracted her. Wenshu, who was under this knife, also had a very flustered expression on his face. This power, above the heavens and the earth, I am supreme. Impossible, no one except the saint, no one can play this same power. No, never. Manjusri's constant screams open, but also desperately urged Qibao Jinlian. Chapter 4792. Chapter 4792. The sky is shining and the light is shining. Knife Mang broke through the sky, so fierce, even the space was split, and the sky flashed in an instant. The starry light of the stars burst out of it. Above the colorful treasures, now is also full of mysterious light, the Buddha's spirit is full of brilliance. Booming. The collision of the two forces finally collided together, and the sword of Jiulong Yutian fell heavily on the colorful lotus. Hey! Then, the sound of the cracking of the road appeared. I saw the huge incomparable Baolian. The cracks in the gap were cracked. Under this knife, it would finally collapse. The power of Jiulong Yutian also disappeared at this time. The figure of Longfei appeared on the void, with one hand holding it and a breath of breath. Buddha Bodhisattva, but that's it. Longfei said faintly. Wenshu is too pretending to be forced. From the moment it appears, it will carry a kind of dragonfly that will destroy the dragon. This expression makes Longfei very unhappy. Since it is not good, it is necessary to do it. Let's let go, you can't break my magic weapon, I can't help you today. Devils, town. Wenshu sighed and angered in his eyes. This Qibao Jinlian is his magic weapon. He once gave it to Jin Yu, but later he was sealed and he was brought to the Buddha Gate. With his cultivation and creation, Qibao Jinlian has long been not the original dragon column. The power is not much better than the original. Now, with the flying dragon, a crack has been created, and the divinity has dissipated more than half. How can it not be distressed? Under the anger, Manjusri directly applied the magic weapon again, and the konjac descended from the sky, and stunned the sky and slammed into the dragon. Hey! The huge demon smashed through the void, accompanied by endless Buddha light, majestic and mighty, is the nemesis of all evil spirits. It is Longfei, and at this moment I have to admit that this konjac is extremely extraordinary. However, it is a pity that Longfei is playing the king's blade at this time, and the breath is even more powerful. He is the king of the ancient world, he is in charge of the king's blade, and he is the master of the world. More than the breath, Longfei is more violent. One person is there, I am invincible. Even if it is Buddhism's righteous compassion, it can't be concealed. The magic of magic, the only legal world, open. When Shu glared, his hands continually swayed, and the konjac was also shining at this time. A kind of scented Buddha's breath came out from it, and it was very powerful. Under this power, the whole void is filled with this huge golden light. Fortunately, in the 100,000 mountains, it has already been expelled by Longfei. Otherwise, these demons will be detached under this force. God, I can't imagine, if we are still in the 100,000 mountains, we have been suppressed by this Buddhist power. Emotions, we were expelled, and we saved our lives. Good insurance, or you will die. Thousands of miles away, some of the demon immersed in the barren hills, seeing the battle in the void, the heart is extremely gratified. But the Tushan family above Tushan, there is no such good luck at this time. This Buddha's breath is too pure, and it is not that they can hold it. It can be said that at the moment when the magical light of the konjac blooms, the Buddha's true method is self-contained and directly covers the entire 100,000 mountains. Namo Amitabha. Namo Amitabha. Not good, ****** it. This is a Buddha of Buddhism, the power of the sky, the ice breaking. Tushan Xiaoya's eyes were condensed, and a chill of coldness emerged from his body. Xiao Ya, no, your current state can no longer be shot. Tushan Xiaorong's face changed. It's too late, these two ***** are terrible. And their breath is extremely powerful, which is absolutely fatal to our Yaozu. Tushan Xiaoya said with a deep voice, and the voice was very angry. They are demon, and the Buddha's breath is just incomparable, full of power, for them is a natural nemesis. She is okay, she is already a Tai Jinxian, and the breath alone has not hurt her. However, the Tushan people have no way to resist. Moreover, the power of Longfei is even more horrible. The vertical and horizontal shackles between the hands are shocking, not to mention the demon, or the sentient beings, all filled with a sense of oppression. It can be said that the power of the two broke out. The Tushan family could not hold it at all. If it was not long before it would be under the pressure of this breath, it would die. Tushan Xiaoya naturally will not allow this scene to happen, so at this moment it will do everything and break the ice. Yes, at this time, above the void, a scene of glare falls directly. Inadvertently, it seems as if an enchantment is formed directly, and Tushan is wrapped in it. Just condensed the actual Tushan Xiaoya expression, full of incredible, what? Tushan Xiaoya was shocked. That is the holy thing. This, Tushan Xiaorong was also shocked. This is the sacred object they dreamed of. Originally, Tushan Xiaoya used this as a condition, and wanted to make it difficult for him to fly. But now that the holy things are out, how do they still don't know? From the beginning to the end, Longfei is teasing them. Because of the holy things, it is on Longfei. Bastard, this is for me. Tushan Xiaoya gas does not hit a place, watching the dragon and sky, the unparalleled dragonfly, swearing. However, Tushan Xiaorong did not care about the reaction of Tushan Xiaoya, but instead he was excited. Xiaoya, look, it is a holy thing, there is a holy thing, the pressure here will not hurt us. Moreover, we painted the mountain spirit fox, and it will change afterwards. Tushan Xiaorong is very excited. I know. Tushan Xiaoya said indifferently, the anger on his face is still visible. Especially at this time, Tushan Xiaoya actually saw Longfei flying above the void, gently glanced at the corner of his mouth with a smile, but also made Tushan Xiaoya's heart shy and angry. However, she also knows that now that Longfei is at a critical moment in the battle, it will not affect it at all. Hey, wait for the monk to run and see how you explain it. Tushan Xiaoya's heart is dark. No one noticed that at this time, on the roof of a house in Tushan, a thin figure, at this time, looked at the Qingqiu catalogue on the void. His eyes were dazed, and his body was faintly blooming. At this time, above the void, Longfei is proud, and the blade of the king is in the hand, all without fear. Even if the void of the entire 100,000 mountains was wrapped, it was filled with the Buddhist form, and for Longfei, there was still no influence. Mom, before the system broke out, it was a great day, but unfortunately, everything was recast. I don't know if the system girl can show it. If the big day comes, what Buddha, is a slag. Longfei's heart is regrettable. There is nothing more to deal with Lingshan than the big day. Your law is solemn, and my great day is the root of the degree. The scriptures are straight out. However, regret is regrettable, and it is still necessary to solve it. Yes, at this time, Wenshu's body was quietly covered with a golden light. This golden light is not the light of Dharma, not the light of mana. It is only what Longfei can see. The light of the boss. I rub, magic weapon blessing, directly evolved into a boss. Chapter 4793. Chapter 4793. This change made Longfei excited and surprised. Before, the system sister said that when people are not good to deal with, Longfei, although solemnly raised, but did not think of the other side to the boss. But now, the blessing of the power of the Konjac, the Dharma is open to the real world. This is a special promotion, directly into the boss. The light of the boss's boss makes Longfei feel dazzling. This level is different from the ones that were previously killed on the earth. Those are the pseudo-boss that are at best because of the sage's breath. The Manjusri in front of you can be different, but it is real and it is promoted to become a boss by its own strength. The obstacles, my Dharma is open to the real world, everything is empty, such as a dream bubble. In my realm, you will reopen 5 wisdoms, abandon violent and killing, and eliminate the source of evil. Still not in the air. Manjusri shouted. The sound is like a thunder, and the sound of Buddhism is mixed in it. The golden light of Buddhism is even more brilliant, and it directly transforms Wenshu into a supreme Buddha. Then, the voice of Wenshu fell, and the whole 100,000 mountains, including the scorpion, all of them were expressions, and then they were struggling. Like repenting in front of the Buddha, enlightening life, facing the double torture of the soul and soul. Special Legion, receive. Longfei reacted, and the power of the system suddenly opened, and Raytheon and others were included in the special army. Then, his eyes turned. You enter Tushan, and there is a slaughter of the spirit fox family. This power of Dharma cannot penetrate. Longfei slammed his hands and stroked his hands, directly tore the Tushan under the cover of the catalogue, and sent a few people to Xuanzang. Only whereabouts, shivering in the side of Longfei. However, it is also a matter of heaven and seal. It has the cover of the heavens and the air, and the influence of this Dharma force on him is minimal. God, what's wrong with this world? Buddhism Bodhisattva, it's so powerful, what are they doing? There is still this person, his combat power, completely above the Ronaldo, cross-hit. Is it true that the masters are so worthless? Where is the heart trembled? At this time, he has already regretted this drowning. However, it is too late, and now he is seriously injured by Longfei, and he is trapped in this Dharma realm. He can keep his heart unconscious. It is already the limit. It is impossible to escape. And Longfei, there is no worries at this time. Even if it is an evolutionary boss, what if it is difficult to do? The first battle of Longting is very important for Longfei, and it is absolutely useless. The Buddha's voice is lingering, shocking the soul, but unfortunately, the soul of Laozi, this power cannot be shaken. Scatter. Longfei shouted, in the Dantian, the breath surging, above the spirit, the eternal life is also slightly shaking. Brush it. The power of eternal life and the power of Dantian are intertwined in an instant, surrounded by dragons and flying hands. This power, no matter which one, is above the heavens. Even the system sisters say that it is completely comparable to the power of the system. The power of the system is what it is. Longfei can't say it. It can only be said that if there is a system, it is invincible. There are dragons in the sky before, and there are themselves, which are the best proof. And the power of eternal life is also the existence of Dantian, which is not inferior to the power of the system. Under these two forces, let alone the real world of Buddhism, that is, Lingshan is in front, thousands of Buddhas sing, and they also want to sing the soul of Longfei. Caused the slightest impact. At this time, the two forces are condensed on the palm of the hand. The place where the dragon flies is a natural barrier. Even in the real world of Buddhism, the Dharma is so vast that it is completely close to Longfei. Even in the moment of approaching the dragon's body, it was directly crushed and dissipated. Puff. Manjusri's face changed dramatically, and his eyes were shocked except shocked. The development of the situation completely exceeded his expectations. How can this be? How can it be? How can it be? Manjusri made 3 sounds, and the solemn law began to crack, and the heart was dusty. Who is he? He is a giant Buddha of Buddhism, a bodhisattva of Lingshan, the supreme being of the famous names in the 3 realms, and the Dharma is so advanced that it is difficult to find a few people who are more than expected. Originally, he thought that he would be able to solve it easily and pull everything back to the starting point. Unexpectedly, the difficulty of Longfei is far above his imagination. Not only broke the Chibao Jinlian, but now it is in this real world of Buddhism, there is nothing to help. Moreover, between the dragons and the hands, the Dharma was truly erased, and it caused a reversal to him. At this time, just in the moment of Manjusri's distraction, Longfei shot again, and the figure moved and punched. Your real world can't hold me. Invincible punch, broken. The dragon flies like a dragon, shuttles over 100,000 mountains, and traverses the void. The power of various laws gathers on a punch and slams out. Rumble. A punch, just a punch, like a catastrophe, this Buddha is really smashed between the moments. Booming. The Dharma is broken in the real world, and the thousands of sacred sounds disappeared. Even Wenshu, this time is also a spurt of old blood, flying back. Of course, the konjac that floated above the void also completely lost power at this time and fell back to Manjusri. Don't dare to do this. Wenshu's anger is still arrogant, even if it is now, it's still high, and it's like a dragon. Dare. There is no such thing as dare in the dictionary of Laozi. Your Dharma is stronger, it is hard to suppress my heart. Longfei said indifferently. Oh, you can't think of it, you have some means. However, if you really think so, you can be lawless, and my Dharma is boundless, and it is easy to suppress you. Wenshu's eyes seemed to have made a major decision in general, and he said to Longfei, is it easy? Do you still say that you still have a trick to fall from the sky? Longfei asked. Up to now, both of them have exerted the ultimate means. Longfei has no reservations. Until now, Longfei does not believe that the other side has more horrible power. Otherwise, it will be used long ago. Unexpectedly, the Longfei business you just fell, and Wenshu's eyes flashed a touch of ruthlessness. You know a lot. It seems that you have studied my Buddhist door for today. However, the results still can't change. You can also be proud of this move. Lingshan is full of power, the Buddha's door is forever, the big day is coming, the Buddha's palm is falling, and falling. The Wenshu voice is like a thunder, like a dragon, roaring the world. And as its voice falls, the whole void, at this moment, is golden. The endless Buddha voice enveloped the time. Above the dome, a huge palm slammed out and slammed down. Longfei glimpsed, this moment, the heart actually gave birth to a sense of crisis. Ainima, is it really like a palm? Longfei exclaimed, the king's blade, the demon's sword, and at the same time, shot to the sky. Chapter 4794. Chapter 4794. The world is shocked and everything is gone. If the Buddha's palm is out, if you want to destroy the world, the horrible power of the horror, the washing of the shackles, the anti-sacrifice, all the creatures hiding in the darkness, nothing at this moment, all the Buddha's light, everything is lost to Huang Quan. However, the strength of Longfei is also not weak. It can make Longfei so hard, and it has not appeared for a long time. Jiulong Yutian, the mad dragon town boundary, the sorcerer's sword madness swept the void. All the power comes together and touches the giant palm above the void. The next moment, the incredible scene took place, and the unfavorable system power was directly suppressed at this moment. Under the giant palm, the impact of the mad dragon has no effect, just a moment, it is crushed by the giant palm. On the top of Kowloon, Longfei broke out with a knife, but the knife mansard only hit the edge of the giant palm, it is difficult to get in. I rub, so fierce? Longfei has a tight heart. I finally understood why the system sisters should open their mouths. The manjusri under this power is really equivalent to opening and hanging. It is simply invincible. It's useless, the enchanting is enchanting, I am the Buddha of the Buddha, the palm of the Buddha, this contains my Buddha's luck, and you are a mustard. Wenshu is very calm, and all eyes are killing. Obviously, there is absolute confidence in this palm. Buman gas transport? Repeat a sentence in the dragon's mouth. At this time, he remembered that the system sister had said that the power of the world saints. The system sister said before, from the data analysis, the power of the saint and the dragonfly are at best equal. But there is an inexplicable force that makes the power of the saint completely above the level of cultivation, and the horror is abnormal. Now, watching Wenshu show this palm, Longfei's heart will be clear. At this time, the power of Jiulong Yutian was exhausted, and the knife was instantly annihilated. Even the power of the scorpion sword could not be blocked, and it was directly blasted. Then, a giant palm fell again. Hey! Longfei figure exploded. A series of attacks were ineffective, which made Longfei have to face this palm of luck. Dragonfly! Bastard! Longfei brother! Be careful! Among the Tushan, Xuanzang, Xuanyu and Xiaoye, as well as Tushan Xiaoya, all change, the face is full of worry. After Tushan Xiaoya spoke, he felt a little embarrassed. It seems that this time he opened his mouth and it was extremely inappropriate. But now in this situation, no one cares about her at all. After all, Longfei's retreat makes everyone's minds become confused. Wait a minute, you have to believe him. Since he dares to face the Buddha of Buddhism alone, there must be his own means. Tu Shan Xiaorong said at this time, to comfort a few people. Of course, more is blocked. She is afraid that a few people will be unwilling to take care of themselves. When it is time, it will not help, and it will make Longfei have scruples. Void, 100,000 hills. When watching the confrontation between Longfei and Manjusri, the whole person has already been numb. Especially when Manjusri fell to the palm of his hand, his heart felt really powerless. I thought that my own combat power is unparalleled in the three realms. But now it seems that the difference is too far. However, when I saw that Longfei was defeated and was in a disadvantage, it was indifferent in the eyes of Ren. As long as Longfei is dead, he will not have any crisis today. After all, even if Manjusri is strong, it is impossible to turn a face with heaven, otherwise it will inevitably cause turbulence in the world. But at this time, Longfei, which was in the middle of the explosion, suddenly stopped. Longfei looked up, his eyes flashed coldly, and he was full of resoluteness. Is the egg, the power of air transport is arrogant. When Laozi has no air transport? Xianmen air transport, for my use. The dragon screamed with a sigh of relief and was directly involved with the stone of Xianmen. Booming. As the sound of Longfei falls, on the stone of Xianmen, the golden dragon reappears, surrounded by Longfei, constantly hovering. Go with. When the dragon flew in the palm of his hand, the final law sanction was brewed out at the same time. At the moment when the air transported Jinlong flew out, his palm was also shot. Rumble. Rumble. The air transport Jinlong Huangyaro Wanzhang Jingguang, Xianmen gas transport emptiness, but filled with a kind of nowhere rhyme, even the heavens and the earth are difficult to restrain. Wenshu's eyes were condensed, and the golden dragon that looked like this came out, and the scorpion was a little more shocked. I can't think of it, you just set up Xianmen, and there is actually a gas transport. However, this kind of air transport is too weak. My Buddha's door has been cultivated for thousands of years, and the gas transport is extremely incomparable. The power of my Buddha is not comparable to your luck. Break it, Wenshu said with a sigh of relief, and he sang in his mouth. At this time, the giant palm above the void began to change suddenly, 1 for 2, 2 for 3, and 3 for 10. In the twinkling of an eye, above the void, densely condensed the tens of thousands of Buddha's palm prints. As Wenshu said, this is the power of Wonfo. And one after another, the palm prints directly bombarded the golden dragon. Roar. The air transported the golden dragon roaring, glaring at the sight, wanting to break through the constraints of this Buddha's hand and attack Manjusri. However, there are too many Buddha's hands, and even if it is a violent gas, it is difficult to break free. And Longfei, this time is even more turbulent. This air transport Jinlong and his connection. Jinlong was created, Longfei itself is not much better, but in an instant, he feels that the whole body is extremely painful, and the forces are smashing in Dantian, extremely unstable. It is the strength of his physical body that is unbearable, and finally a direct ejection of blood. Puff. Longfei's breath is sluggish, and the airborne golden dragon disappears. Seeing this, Wenshu stopped the action in his hand and looked at Longfei. Let's end here, deviant, only die. Wenshu said, pretending to be deep and posing a path of compassion and intolerance. At this time, Longfei's heart is also urgent. System girl, what should I do? Do you want to use the eternal life again? Longfei asked, looking at the 10,000-year palm print of the volley, asked anxiously. He can't sit still. If there is no way for the system girl, then he will use the eternal life, and will leave Wenshu. Master, you forgot, you still have invincible points. This power has never been used since you got it. Now is the best time, the system sister said. Longfei glimpsed, and immediately ecstatic. If the system sister does not say, Longfei almost forgot, the system entered the highest sequence, after the ultimate system. In addition to killing a few fake boss when giving something, the system will prompt, then silence. Therefore, Longfei has forgotten that he has accumulated countless invincible points. As soon as I read this, Longfei's heart moved, the system, starting the invincible point. Hey, congratulations to the player to start the invincible power, consume an invincible point of 100 points. Within 5 minutes, the player repaired a level and doubled each attribute. Chapter 4795. Chapter 4795. The innumerable Buddha's palms surround the void and linger on the night. Moreover, the horrible power of the Buddha's martial arts is blessed in it, making each of these palms extremely horrible and containing great power. You can't go back to heaven. I can die under the palm of the Buddha, I am dead, and I am proud to be proud of the heavens. The Wenshu voice fell coldly. In his opinion, Longfei has already died. Or, this palm, even in the face of the saints, the heavens are quasi-holy, and Manjusri is not afraid. Therefore, at this moment, Wenshu concluded that Longfei had absolutely no possibility to reverse the fate. I can't go back to heaven? Laozi never thought about going back to heaven. I want you to explode you. Longfei domineering response. Now, Wenshu's firepower is fully open, and the Buddha's air transport is on display. The light of the boss has been emanating to the extreme. Very dazzling. This also shows that at this time, Manjusri has become a boss. Boss appeared, let Longfei retreat. It is impossible. Okay. The smile on Manjusri's face seemed to be confusing, and he could not believe what he had heard. But when his sight was fixed on Longfei, the whole expression solidified instantly. What? Your breath, this is impossible, absolutely impossible. Everything between the heavens and the earth is fixed. The number of quasi-holy is full. It is absolutely impossible for someone to break through again. Wenshu was scared and his face became pale. The previous majesty and calmness were swept away. Without it, just because now Longfei is like a rebirth, the momentum of the whole person is violent, and the savage is on his body. Longfei got up and his hands were slightly open. Is this super successful? Long Fei's heart is secretly excited. Can't. This kind of power is too horrible. Long Fei feels that his own combat power is now hundreds of times higher than before. If you talk about Manjusri before, there are still taboos in your heart. But now, Long Fei has a feeling that it will be able to blow Wenshu. We must know that it is not as simple as 1 + 1 to double the various attributes to improve one level. The use of these data in word warfare is simply an improvement in the sky. Master, this is not super perfect. It can only be said that you have the power attribute of this realm, but there is still a gap compared with the real master of this realm. The system sister said. Okay. Long Fei nodded. The system sister said that there is nothing wrong with it. Long Fei also knows that every realm has its own unique characteristics. It can be proved by a simple power attribute. Forget it, no matter what, this realm, I will be able to reach it soon. But now, the most important thing is the boss in front of you, you must not let go. Long Fei's heart sank and he gathered his thoughts and looked at Manjusri. This is the first boss of the mythical world, and all kinds of boss golden light, boss attributes also appear. Even the lord of the sixth temple of the promised temple that I encountered before was simply not comparable. That kind of existence, although tyrannical, can be spent in countless time and space. After all, the strength has been 100, and Long Fei is in control of eternal life, and it is absolute suppression. Now different, like an invincible point that is not a critical moment, Long Fei may be in crisis. No, you are still a big Luo. Although your strength has increased dramatically, you can still not touch a layer. Wenshu calmed down and looked at Long Fei, saying coldly, "So what? Killing you is enough." Long Fei responded and he was overbearing. Although there are only 5 minutes, under this force, Long Fei asks himself that it is still easy to erase Wenshu. As long as Manjusri is destroyed, then all this is settled today. As for the future, Long Fei is even more fearless. After all, he has now reached the edge of the breakthrough. As long as the Manjusri is eliminated, it is a step closer and even a direct breakthrough. At that time, it is just like coming in person. Long Fei is also fearless. One thought of this, Long Fei did not hesitate, and immediately shot. Boom! A fist swayed and roared for 9 days. It is still an invincible punch, but now this punch is completely different. When a punch hits, it will bring the momentum of destroying the earth. Hey! If there is no root duckweed in the sky, in the dragon's fist, one after another, the disillusionment, directly broken in the void, turned into a golden light, dissipated. Even if there are countless Buddhas, it is difficult to get a punch. In the blink of an eye, the entire void is emptied, leaving only one dragon to fly. Kowloon Royal Sky. He is ill and wants him. Now that Lingshan's departure has been broken, the golden light of Manjusri has disappeared. Now is the time when he is the weakest. Long Fei naturally does not give the other party a chance to prepare for a blow. Rumble. When the Kowloon is out, Long Fei stands on the top of the giant dragon in the middle, mobilizing the edge of the king, and gains a glimpse. Brush. When the knives lock the Manjusri, they cut the void directly, as if at this moment, the sky is divided into 2. On it, it is Xuanzang. Underneath it is the knife of Long Fei. Hey! Wenshu changed color, and the konjac shot again, directly resisting the knife. But now the dragon fly, the strength is multiplied, the same knife, than before. I don't know how many times it is tyrannical. Even if it is a konjac, it can't resist at this time, but in a moment, it's smashed by the knife of the king's blade. The divinity is completely lost and becomes a group of scrap iron. Do not! Wenshu exclaimed, his face was very painful. This battle has hit the present, has already created a feeling of incomparable annoyance in Wenshu. Under the First World War, Chibao Jinlian was gone, and the demon scorpion was gone. Even his life was still undecided. The obstacles, you have to destroy my magic weapon. Today, even if you are behind the saint, you cannot stop this seat. Do you think that this will be able to turn things around? Impossible, I am a Buddha. With my fruit, sacred Lingshan. Manjusri is a big drink. Rumble. Rumble. As the sound falls, the heavens and the earth change again, and on the endless void, one of the Lingshan mountains slowly descends. This is the shadow of Foshan, but it bears the will of the Buddhas of Lingshan. It is extremely rich. In an instant, the whole world is covered with Buddha's meaning. It seems that the Buddha is on the horizon. Longfei's eyes are condensed and his heart is deep. I thought that Manjusri had been dead-end, and I couldn't think of the other side's cards. Amitabha, have to say, you are enchanting, really an alternative to heaven and earth. I actually forced my seat to mobilize Lingshan. However, everything is settled. When Lingshan comes out, there is no magic in the world. Wenshu's expression was calm, and the cold voice said, "Go to your mother's world without a demon. People's lives come from the body. Who gives you the qualifications to make others devil? If the gods and the Buddhas are like the same, then the devil of Laozi today carries the justice of heaven and earth, and supports the Chenkuan. Lingshan, what special is it for Laozi?" Chapter 4796. Chapter 4796. The power of the Buddha's door is used to wash away the heavens and the earth, and a huge shadow of Lingshan comes to the present and appears between heaven and earth. Moreover, the speed of coming is extremely fast and it is difficult for the naked eye to capture. The obstacles, under my Lingshan, still not in the air. Wenshu screamed, hysterical in his eyes. At this moment, he has hated the dragon. For many years, he is a Buddha of Buddhism, and he is tall. On the other hand, the demon sees him, and he is surrendered to worship. Wherever he is completely controlled by Longfei. Now, it is necessary to rely on their own fruit position to transfer Lingshan to reverse the situation. Moreover, the Buddha's fruit position is extremely rare. Every time you use it, it is equivalent to self-defeating. Not only does it have to fall, but the Lingshan that you can get will be greatly reduced. This kind of loss makes Wenshu a few crazy, so I can't wait to crush the dragonfly into pieces. At this time, what Wenshu did not know was that the battle in this place, because of his fruit position, the entire western Lingshan, has been perceived. West Heaven, Lingshan. Outside the great Lei-Yin temple, the sound of Buddhism is lingering, peaceful and incomparably holy. But at this time, a thunder was shocked. Thunder to roll, the world is catastrophe. It is Manjushri. Manjushri actually mobilized the power of the fruit, guiding the shadow of Lingshan. Damn, is it the heaven and earth? Fast, mourn the scriptures and bless the Manjushri. Within the Lei-Yin temple, countless Luohan King Kong, Buddha Bodhisattva, began to meditate on the Buddha's heart, and blessed Manjushri. Even if it is Tsihang, Puxian and other extremely bodhisattvas, do not dare to have the slightest intention, began to infuse their own power into the Lingshan. As the ancestors of the Wonfo, the moment is also shocked, closed eyes. It was only a matter of moments. If you suddenly opened your eyes, it seemed to be a big horror. In the eyes, there were a few flusters. There is no such person in the heavens. How is this possible? And, this time it was the annihilation of Manjusri? This. If you come to see it in the clouds, but you don't dare to speak out, for fear that it will mess up Lingshan. The picture is rotated, and it is fixed on the mountain of 100,000. Longfei looked at Lingshan, which was suspended above the top of his head, and his mind was high in war. I am not a monkey, you are a Buddhist mountain, I want to live in the town. The power of the end of the law, move. Longfei shouted. The blade of the kings disappeared and disappeared into the system space. Then, Longfei raised his arms. Brush it. The power of the last law surged and gathered on the arms of Longfei. Then, it is the power of the various laws of the world. Then, it is the power of eternal life and the power of Dantian. It can be said that Longfei has gathered all the forces that can be used this time. As he said, he wants to blast this Lingshan. Originally these forces gathered together to be comparable to the general Luo Feng. Nowadays, under the invincible state of Longfei, it is even more violent. The people above Tushan are almost numb at this time. In this battle, they have already lost themselves. Whether it is Longfei or Manjusri, the strength of any one person is enough to crush them. Especially at this moment, Lingshan's advent, it is to bring them a kind of spiritual oppression. Just look at it, they feel self-defeating, cannot help but want to exile themselves. If there is no Qingqiu record at this moment, they are afraid that they will have been under the influence of this Lingshan power, and they will convert to Buddhism and believe in Lingshan. Longfei must be fine. Xian Zong eyes with tears. She is not good at talking, and even rarely speaks, but for Longfei, she has already delivered it and decided to follow her life. So at this moment, worry is incomparable. Do not worry, my aunt, will be fine. Xian Yu clenched Xuanzang's hands, a look of tension. Yes, Longfei brother will be fine, Xiaoye said in a hurry. But the three did not rush out at this moment, because they knew that the battle at this time was definitely not something they could intervene. When they go out, they will let Longfei worry about it and cannot fight for it. On the 100,000 hills, the shadow of Lingshan has become lower and lower. Throughout the void, it has been able to feel the repression of the sky. This time, it is even more terrifying than the palm of Wanfo. The corner of the void, where the heart is chilling, extremely painful. This pressure has exceeded his tolerance. Damn, they are so terrible. Where is the hatred of the heart? It is extremely hateful. He is self-proclaimed in the three realms, and his body is sealed, but now, in the battle between Longfei and Manjusri, it is like a dispensable ant. This feeling makes his heart very painful. However, he has been seriously injured by Longfei, and even the mana cannot be mobilized. He wants to avoid it and can't do it. He can only wait for one result. Rumble. The shadow of Lingshan has finally come, and the inexhaustible Buddha shadow sits on the top of Lingshan with his hands folded. The thunder is rolling, and the heavens and the earth are evil. Troubleshoot, give me the town. Lingshan descended, in the eyes of Manjusri, killing the enemy. At this time, he has no cover, and the meaning of compassion has disappeared. In the face of Longfei, I just want to suppress. I want to suppress me, it is impossible. Lao Tzu said, Lingshan also has to give me a burst. Longfei hands and sky, the eyes chill. Rumble. Between the hands of Longfei, countless kinds of forces came together, and the void was lifted up, so that the Lingshan that descended on it stayed above the void. Wanshu's eyes were brighter, and the killing in his eyes was more intense. This child and the atmosphere, repaired to be tyrannical, and mysterious abnormal. Now the evil fruit has been formed, if not killed, the future will become the source of my sin. Wenshu thought, left and right, in the sinking, actually bite broken heart tips. In the name of my Buddha, I invited the shadows of the Buddhas of Lingshan, and I suppressed this. Hey! Manjusri drank, the blood of the fingertips cut through the sky and landed on the shadow of Lingshan. Boom! In an instant, the shadow of the Lingshan became more solid, and the power of the aura of the road surged out. Even growing, puff. Longfei's throat was sweet, and a huge pressure came from his arms. Hey! Then, a severe pain passed through the arm and swept the whole body. Where is the trough? What is this special? Longfei's heart is tight, severe pain, even if it is Longfei, it feels unbearable. Master, this old monk has been poor, this shadow of Foshan is attracting the support of the real Lingshan. To kill, just cut off the connection between the two sides. At this time, the system sister suddenly said. The problem is that my current strength can harden the shadow of this Lingshan is the limit, how to cut it? Longfei asked. Depressed in my heart. When the invincible force came out, Longfei thought that Wenshu would die. I did not expect that the other party would not want to face this level, directly attracting the power blessing of the entire Lingshan. In other words, what Longfei is fighting now is not his magical power. It is the pressure of the entire Lingshan. Chapter 4797. Chapter 4797. This kind of power is the whole mythical world that can resist, and can't find the first hand. Even if Flying Dragon is now invincible, it will be able to withstand it. It is impossible to destroy Lingshan. The situation is getting more and more crises. No, can't wait. Longfei was anxious. The longer the time passes, the less likely he is to turn defeat into victory. Because of the invincible time, only 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, the invincible force disappeared, and it would be extremely difficult to resist the suppression of Lingshan at that time. System Sister, how do you do it now? Long Fei resisted this Lingshan suppression while hooking up the System Sister. Master, in this case, there are only 2 ways to get rid of the predicament in front of you. One is to use the power of the Rubik's Cube, and the other is to use the power of the Demon Sword. The System Sister said. Magic Cube. Magic Sword. Long Fei repeated. Yes, I still have Rubik's Cube. Long Fei's eyes lit up. Rubik's Cube, but the beginning of power. Since now the invincible power of the inability to collapse the pressure of this Lingshan, it is simply violent. Long Fei does not believe there is the addition of the power of the original stone. This virtual shadow of Lingshan cannot collapse. Master, the power of the Rubik's Cube can be used. But I want to remind you that if you use the power of the Rubik's Cube may be out of control and return to the universe. The System Sister said. At this moment, Long Fei sinks down. Use it once to control and return to the universe. His goal is to reunite the infinite glove. If the universe cube is lost, it is equivalent to going to this possibility. After all, his hand already has a map of several other rough stones. Everything is ready. If the universe cube is gone, his planning function is ruined. What about the magic sword? How to use the magic sword to solve the immediate crisis? Long Fei asked again. The demon sword has a killing skill, but the condition is that the player's blood volume is reduced to less than 10%. That is to say, the owner must ensure that after he is able to resist this illusion of Foshan, he can still activate the magical sword of the Scorpion Sword and achieve anti-killing after the state of more than 10%. The System Sister responded. Suddenly, there was an impulse in Long Fei's heart to want to marry her. Now, he is in an invincible state, and his various attributes are doubled and repaired. In this state, the pressure on the shadow of Lingshan is somewhat stretched. If you rely on your own hard resistance, the results, Long Fei really cannot predict. In other words, it is too risky to rely on the power of the sword. Maybe everything is finished. For a time, Long Fei was silent, and he did not know how to choose. But at this time, in the mind, a voice appeared. Oh, countdown to the invincible state, 10 seconds. As soon as the sound came out, Long Fei suddenly woke up. It's too late, only 10 seconds left, Mom. No matter what, the Rubik's Cube is lost. If you can't find it later, it's mine. It's mine. But there is only one life. The System Sister, start the magic power. Long Fei said decisively. At this time, it has been impossible for him to consider more. Well, Master, I have already handed over the initiative to the system. 10 seconds later, the Rubik's Cube power starts. The System Sister responded and disappeared without a trace. And Long Fei, the mind is also returning to reality. At this time, the power of the shadow of Lingshan has been condensed to the extreme, extremely magnificent, between the mighty, overwhelming. At this time, Long Fei's invincible state has entered the final countdown, and various attribute bonuses have disappeared. Hey! At this moment, Long Fei only felt that his heart was crushed and dull, his arms broke directly, and the scarlet blood directly stained the clothes and floated empty. Ha ha ha, you are disabled, you are exhausted, and today you are dead. Manjusri laughed. No Buddha's hide or gesture. Some are just mad and proud. Long Fei did not care, still struggled. Fortunately, this time the system promptly reminds, otherwise, if the invincible state disappears directly, Long Fei can't resist. Oh, the invincible state is over. The system sounded down, and Long Fei only felt black in front of him, a strong sense of powerlessness and vanity. At the same time, the horrific pressure of Lingshan has once again swept through, and this breath has made Long Fei painfully full of tension, like a burst. At this time, in the mind, the system sounds again. Hey, the Rubik's power starts. Hey, congratulations to the player to gain Rubik's power, effective time, 30 seconds. Hey, the universe is out of control. The system sounds again and again, and Long Fei's body is once again violent. Hey, a light and shadow passed through the eyes of Longfei, and disappeared into the endless void between the blinks. Longfei's eyes looked at the direction in which the Rubik's Cube disappeared, and his heart was awkward. Mom, one day, I will find it myself. But now, killing the boss is more important than anything else. Longfei thought in his heart, his eyes lifted. It's you who died. I spoke, I have never counted, saying that you will explode your Lingshan. Today, you must explode. Longfei screamed and slammed his hands. Then, under the power of Longfei, the shadow of Lingshan was directly pushed away and flew back. However, the figure of Longfei did not stop, but instead it rose to the sky, and the dry land was plucked with green onions and leaps and bounds. Give me a burst. Longfei has nowhere to go. With the blessing of the Rubik's power, Longfei is like a demon god, and he is facing the shadow of Lingshan, which is a punch. Boom. A muffled sound broke out from the shadow of Lingshan. Rumble. Rumble. The next moment, the shadow of the entire Lingshan was directly violent, fragmented, endless Buddha and Buddhism, and suddenly dissipated. Do not. Below, Manjusri's face was horrified, and he had disappeared from the blood. He couldn't understand why Longfei, who had already died at the end of his life, could burst into such a terrible power at the last moment, and he would blast the shadow of Lingshan. At this moment, Manjusri's mind is in vain. Lingshan was shattered, and he no longer had any means to compete with Longfei. Looking at the dragon flying far above the void, Wenshu's heart glimpsed. Daggers, take me away. Wenshu shouted and summoned the void. Roar. Subsequently, a green-haired lion appeared directly from the void, and the one-step jump was hundreds of miles and went straight to Wenshu. Longfei on the void, his eyes suddenly turned. At this time, I still want to go, it is already late. Longfei's eyes are fabulous. This war, the means to do it, even the Rubik's Cube is lost. If you let Wenshu escape, do you not lose the wife and the soldiers? Such a deal, Longfei never did. The next moment, Longfei figure squats down, punches the void, and flies the flying dagger. Then he violently turned his direction and made another punch against Manjusri. Give me a burst. Chapter 4798. Chapter 4798. Longfei punches, smashes the heavens and the earth, and blasts in an invincible position with irreversible attitude. Rumble. This power is extremely horrible. Under the punch, the void of Manjusri is broken and directly forms a broken void. As for Wenshu, let alone, under this boxing, it was directly annihilated, and even the bones did not exist, directly turned into a group of powder, floating in the sky. Hey, congratulations to the players to kill the boss Wenshu Guangfa Bodhisattva, gain 1000 experience, 100 points of spiritual source, 1 point of invincibility. Hey, congratulations to the players for getting the martial arts. Hey, congratulations to the player to get the 7 treasures of Gold Lotus, residual. Hey, congratulations to the player to get the Konjac. Residual. Hey, congratulations to the player to get the Manjusri Rape, extraordinary. Hey, congratulations to the players for getting the Buddha's Luck. The system sounds constantly reminding, and the heart of Longfei is suddenly loose. It's over and everything is over. When Manjusri died, it was just right today. Even if Heaven and Lingshan are angry again, they will not send 2 horses and horses within 1 day. Upgraded, that realm, finally arrived. Longfei's eyes were moving and excited. A Manjusri directly brought him 1000 points of experience, and he was only a few hundred points away from the upgrade, and now the experience is completely sufficient. But after waiting for a long time, the sound of the system still did not appear, and even there was no change in itself. System sister, what is going on? My experience is full, why not upgrade? Longfei was surprised and asked. But this time, the system sister directly lost the sound, when Longfei couldn't hold it, and wanted to enter the system space to see what happened. An accident happened. Longfei's knowledge is directly shielded from the system, as if it directly cut off the connection with Longfei. The trough, what's going on? Longfei was shocked and unwilling to explore God into it again, but the result was still the same. No, the system is still there, but why can't you get into it? Longfei's heart panicked for the first time. Although now, without the system, he is still unmatched. It can be systematic, that is, he will face the dragon and the sky in the future, facing the capital of the Promised Temple. If the system is now abolished, he wants to return to the ancient world, and it will become extremely difficult. For a time, Longfei was in a mess. Master, don't worry. Just now there is a force that is patrolling the heavens and is screening alternative systems for closure. So, in order to avoid accidents, I took the initiative to block the system, and after a month, everything will return to normal. Master, take care, see you again in a month. At this time, the voice of the system sister appeared. Then it is to continue to sink, no matter how Longfei feels, it is not perceived. Tore the days. Is it the power of Supreme? Also, what is the meaning of a heterogeneous system? There is no answer to the question mark of Longfei's big heart. What he didn't know was that at this time, in the Supreme Plane, the sirens continued. The original system owners have been reborn and the data is being caged. A total of 126 alternative system owners were discovered and systematically destroyed. Looking for 36,000 in the world, the inspection is over. One after another sounds are sent one after another. In the center of the voice report of all of them, is an old man wearing a black gown. In front of the old man, it is a huge machine, and countless people are in front of the machine. Crazy operation. Well, the next step is to screen all the owners of the controllable system, transfer them to the Supreme Plane, and develop a strongest system to deal with the original system. The old man said. Yes. Elders, the first generation system is now reborn, but it will take some time to recover. This time is enough for us to develop. Yes, we are the Supreme Plane, even if it is the first generation system, we developed it. If it is not obedient, then develop a stronger system and destroy him. Individually controlled people are very excited. It seems that seeing a person who has made it out of his own control is simply unbearable. However, no one saw it. In one of the corners of the group, a middle-aged man and a white boy were secretly relieved. They are the operators of the systems that have been responsible for Longfei. The picture turns again, on the 100,000 hills. Although Longfei is helpless, he can only accept it. It seems that it is getting more and more turbulent. Dragon Ba Tian, is it you? Longfei's eyes were shot in the cold. In this case, the first sense for Longfei is that Longbation has been recovering and even alerted the Supreme Plane, so this will happen. But the power of the Supreme Plane is really strange. I patrol the heavens. I have no perception. Longfei was slightly wrong, but he also knew that the Supreme Plane could not be touched by himself, and he would not think much more. The only thing that makes Longfei feel regret is that the things that broke out this time, even if they didn't even see anything, were directly swallowed into the system space. Cool. Longfei took a deep breath and came down from the void. Between the backhands, the Qingqiu on the Tushan mountain was recorded and taken away. Yes, at this time, the change is sudden. Hey! 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 The bell rang 9 times and shook the world. Then, it was a sense of sorrow that could not be heard. Oh lololane! Under the night, the stars disappeared and turned into drifting rain. Only, this night rain is bloody. Raw. Hey! A voice screams from all over the world, it is extremely painful, very sad, people listen, and restless. Not only that, but even the mountains and rivers began to be uneasy, the mountains and rivers vibrated into disasters, and the rivers flooded into looting. Even the sky is rendered into a scarlet color. For a time, the whole earth, the eyes of the world, are all in the end, full of dilapidated and desolate. The changes in this scene are only completed in an instant. It was only a moment of time, overwhelming, heaven and earth, all of which were shrouded in sadness and disaster. Very boring, very uncomfortable. Even the people above Tushan were affected by this breath, and their faces were filled with mourning. As for some of the underlying spiritual foxes, they are crying more than a headache. The world is shaking, is the life sad? Longfei heart is a condensate. Death a monk, it will be implicated in the heavens and the earth. Let the world and the sorrow, let the souls cry? Buddha, yes. Longfei's voice is indifferent. This moment, the strange anger in my heart. It is a pity that the system space has now been closed. Otherwise, Longfei must let all the people under the squad do it to save the people. No, since I have set up Long Ting, now is a good opportunity to win faith. Buddha, this time, Lao Tzu wants you to steal chicken without eclipsing the rice. Longfei eyes flashed in the eyes. Chapter 4799. Chapter 4799 Heaven, above the top. All the gods are cold and silent. At this time, even the heavens were affected. Ling Xiao Shangyun not only traced, but also the ferrybird flying crane disappeared. 33 days were also shrouded in the sound of this road. Does the Buddha have a huge fall? The Jade Emperor was shocked and stunned. This kind of thing has not happened between thousands of years. Especially at that level, basically living with the world, with the sun and the moon, where can be so easy to fall. Jade Emperor, it should be. This road has been slightly calculated. It has been learned that the Buddhism Manjusri Buddhism Buddha has fallen and dissipated between heaven and earth. A robe is the first to open. When is dead. The Jade Emperor was shocked, and apparently still could not believe it. After all, it is the world's top master, the Buddha giant, such a person, squatting, the world will vibrate. But now, it is so depraved. That Lao Jun, can you know why Wenshu died? Asked the Jade Emperor. It should be related to a new anger that suddenly surged in the past. The old road said. A Jade Emperor, his eyes are slightly condensed. Li Jing? Where is Li Jing? The Jade Emperor exclaimed. Even when Shushu is dead. Who is good in his heavenly court? For a time, Jade Emperor's face was also shocked to anger, even faint, and there was confusion. Hey! At this moment, a figure rushed into the hall of Ling Xiaobao. Your Majesty, kneel down to save lives. The shadow has not yet arrived, and the voice of forgiveness has been heard. The faces of everyone are also instantly condensed at this time. Li Tianwang, how can you become like this? Yeah, you are the head of the heavenly gods, how can they fall into such a situation? And what happened? The gods opened their mouths. To shut up. Li Jing, you said. The Jade Emperor screamed and suppressed all the discordant voices. Your Majesty, help, the enchantment of the lower bound is really strong, the minister is not an opponent. If it weren't for me, I wouldn't be able to escape. However, I am afraid that my child is not the enchanting opponent. Please also send your troops to suppress the enchanting. Li Jing said in a hurry. Originally, he was also very confident about which one. However, when he first arrived in heaven, he felt the change of heaven and earth, endless grief, and a bad premonition between instinct. In an instant, above the Lingxiaobao temple, it's quiet and cold, and the needle can be heard. Even the Jade Emperor was silent. For a time, the gods were even more vocal, and no one spoke. Seeing this scene, Li Jing forced it. Your Majesty. Li Jing tentatively opened. Oh, Uranus, sorrow. This matter, the widows are helpless. The Jade Emperor sighed and said. Now, even Wenshu is dead. How did he find a master in the heavens to suppress the dragonfly? No one is available at all. The power of the battlefield is already one of the strongest sequences of heaven, but compared with Wenshu, there is still a big gap. Now that Manjusri has fallen, there will be no good results. What? The sorrow, Your Majesty, what are you talking about? Li Jing panicked. Although he is a noble king, he knows in his heart that most of his exploits are accumulated. If there is an accident, his situation will be extremely embarrassing. Li Tianwang, just the change of heaven and earth, I believe that you have also sensed it. Behind this, there is a giant Buddha. Someone spoke and concealed reminders. The events of the heavens, even if they are heavenly gods, there are many taboos, and they dare not comment. What do you mean? Li Jing asked. Heaven, just when you flee back to heaven. The Manjushri of Buddhism, also the lower bound and the enchanting battle. But at this moment, Manjusri has fallen and died in the hands of the enchanting. So, there may be more fierce things. Laojun said, explain to Li Jing. In an instant, Li Jing looked at her eyes and her expression was sluggish. The land, the endless ghost. A ****** moon hangs in the endless darkness, reflecting the road to the land. 10 ghost halls, endless sorrows and ghosts, at this moment, they are sobbing, ghosts crying. Hey! A group of figures came together and finally settled over the land. What is happening in the world? Is this Buddhism going to reorganize the world? It seems that the struggle between God and Buddha has not ended. We must also be prepared early so as not to be placed under the one. It's a good talk. Buddhism was quiet as it was a few years ago. Now it's a giant scorpion. It's Bodhisattva. We should make it a precaution. Several people have said that the expression is extremely serious. Yes, Chujiang, Song Emperor, you too immediately went to the world to see the reasons. Equality, rotation, where your Prince Dongyu the Great is, explain the situation. Urban, Taishan, Qin Guangwang, the three of you went to the capital and negotiated with the Ghost Emperor. Yu Cheng Wang, the ****** king, you go to the STYX and try your breath. Among the 10 people, the most central one, wearing a robe of robes, spoke up. I will follow the command of the Son of Heaven, I will wait for this. The other 9 people, after hearing it, said one after another. For a time, the entire Netherland house, the king of the 10 halls, was dispatched at the same time. Just under the government, in the 18 layers of hell, this time a monk wearing a koi, opened his eyes. When is dead. It seems that this time, it is more turbulent than it was thousands of years ago. Buddha, heaven. Ah. The monk sneered, looking at the boundless hell, the endless evil spirits, a sneer in the corner of his mouth. Amitabha, I don't go to hell, who goes to hell? The wind will start, it is time to help the world break free of shackles. The time has come today, and my chance to become a Buddha is coming. The monk talked to himself and finally jumped into the boundless hell. The blood of the nether. Above the sea of blood, there is a ripple. This secluded sea is a pile of bones, endless blood and savings, linking the world and the land, is a very ferocious land. At this time, it was also shrouded in a deep sadness. When the seat is in the vertical and horizontal, the world has not had anything for you, now it is dead, still want to affect my blood. Give me a roll. A burst of fire and drink came out, winning the gaze as a knife, looking around, all the sorrows of Buddhism, disappeared instantly. Ha ha ha, I can't think of the kid's violent anger, and a bodhisattva who went straight to the Buddha's door. The real storm has already started. It seems that this seat has to be prepared soon. Winning the hook and watching the mad wolf, the other side of the blood sea, the figure flashed, silenced. Of course, the same scene also happened in countless places in the earth. Among the STYX rivers, the old ancestors of the STYX river stood by the sword, and after the sinking, they were silent in the blood. However, the most shocking thing is the Lingshan. Above the Lingshan, the endless thunder is rolling, and the small to the Shami, the avenue Luohan Jingang Buddha, and even the Bodhisattva, all mourning the scriptures, endless sadness. And all this, the vibration of the heavens and the earth, only because of 2 words, Long Ting. Chapter 4800. Chapter 4800. In a blink of an eye, it is 3 days. In 3 days, the dragon's power has shaken the fairy world. The 100,000 mountain has also become a restricted area. There is one exception in this restricted area, that is Tushan. Tushan Xiaoya looked at Long Ting, who was close at hand, and wanted to enter the door several times, but eventually he could bear it. Small sister, what are you waiting for? Behind him, Tushan Xiaorong said. Nothing, just thinking, this person is so powerful, has already sinned Qianting and Lingshan, is simply a madman. We painted the mountain, so I was involved with him. I painted it on the mountain. I don't know if it is good or bad. Tushan Xiaoya said faintly. This is why she is really worried. This point, from the first appearance of Longfei, when she saved her, she already guessed that Longfei is definitely not an ordinary person, and definitely will make a big earth-shattering event. What can be said, she did not think that Long Fei was so crazy, directly establishing the patriarchal door, but also attracted the dissatisfaction of heaven. Then the ending is to break her cognition again and again. The heavens are defeated, and none of them will survive for tens of thousands of days. Buddhism is even more defeated, and even a Buddha is also here. In any case, now that he controls the sacred objects of the spirit fox family, he has already shown that he is the master of our spiritual fox. Have you forgotten the ancestral training, and we will obey the Lord of the Holy Spirit for generations? Tushan Xiaorong said. Tu Shanxiao was also silent. At this moment, a small figure appeared, blocking in front of the two. There is nothing to tangled, big brothers are so good, he must be right. I am going to call the door. Xiao Susu said openly. It is still a natural sprout, and everything is not in the heart. It seems that it will never be considered so much. But at this time, Tushan Xiaoya and Tushan Xiaorong's face, the expression instantly condensed. Because at this moment, Tushan Xiaoya's clothes have changed from pink to red. This change has shocked both of them. But they are very tacit, no one has to ask, just watching quietly. Tushan Susu walked into the Longting. At this time, Long Tingzhong, Long Fei has recovered. In 3 days, his body was split and reorganized again and again, reaching its peak again. Even Long Fei feels that in this battle, his own Dantian seems to be motivated again, and the Dantian power he can use is a bit more. Now Buddhism is in a world of sorrow and sorrow, so that the sorrow is caught in cholera. It is the time when my dragon court accumulated luck. Unfortunately, the system space was banned, and Raytheon and others could not be summoned. If you want to capture the gas faster, you can only find another way. Long Fei came out of the retreat of Long Ting and thought of it. Just saw the Tushan Susu on the way. Red clothes. Long Fei was shocked. Based on his experience, how could not see it, Tushan Xiaosu has signs of awakening. For this reason, I don't have to think about it. Long Fei has already guessed it because of the Qingqiu catalogue. Big brother, we want to form an alliance with Long Ting. Later, you will be the boss, and we will be the second child. Tushan Susu said that hegemony is simple. Long Fei heard it and smiled. So simple. Don't you be afraid because I will ruin your Tushan? Long Fei asked with a smile. I don't know, but in my mind, there is a voice telling me that following you, we will definitely move to a new height. And tell me that as long as I come to you, you will not refuse. And Xiaoya sister and Xiaorong sister will not stop. Xiao Susu said. When Yang, Long Fei slightly sinking. It is not difficult to imagine that the voice of Tushan Xiaosu's heart is definitely Tushan Hong Hong. Thinking of this, Long Fei said directly, well, my Longting is now standing, just need someone. However, you go back and tell you Tushan Xiaoya, don't forget the things you promised. Long Fei said with a smile, his eyes looked like he had no view of Tushan. On Tushan Xiaoya's Heng and Tushan Rongrong were silent, and there was no time to laugh at the changes that happened to Tushan Xiaosu. Suddenly, it seemed to be noticed, and suddenly looked at the direction of Long Ting, just colliding with Long Fei's eyes. Brush. In an instant, Tushan Xiaoya's face was red and red. Tushan Xiaorong was puzzled and was about to speak, but he listened to Tushan Xiaoya and said, go, let's go to Long Ting. In the end, Tushan was placed under Long Ting. When Tushan Xiaoya and Tushan Xiaorong came to Long Ting, they heard the second technique of Tushan Xiaosu, and almost no hesitation, they immediately agreed. Since you have already entered Long Ting, I will naturally not treat you badly. Xiao Ya, you should be the strongest force of the Linghu family today. But your strength is too serious for your own damage. This drop of blood will not only eliminate the hidden diseases in your body, but it will also make your strength more refined. Long Fei said. Yes, this blood is the dragon's own. How precious his blood is, it is self-evident. Anyone who got his blood has changed against the sky. For Tushan Xiaoya, Long Fei will not be embarrassed. Thank you. Tushan Xiaoya, pretending to be calm, said coldly. But the heart has already had fluctuations, and a strange feeling breeds in the heart. Small capacity, you are known as a 1,000-face demon, the means can be seen. Today, I married the Buddha of Buddhism. Buddhism has provoked heaven and earth with sorrow, which is exactly the time when my dragon court took the faith. This matter will be handed over to you. When you return, I personally open the Qingqiu catalogue to restore your ancestors. Not only you, Tushan All-Spirit Fox, as long as there is a blessing, I will treat everyone equally. Longfei said. Small to obey, will not let the adults down. Tushan Xiaorong should be accepted again and again. If it is fighting, it may not be good for her. But calculating such things in front of her is a breeze. After the instructions, Tushan Xiaoya and Tushan Xiaorong have left. And Longfei thought of a move, perceive Xuanzang, a flash, with Tushan Xiaosu directly. Longfei brother. Xiao Yue is very excited. In a few days, Longfei was in the process of recuperating, and she was naturally worried. Don't worry, you have to believe, you're man, but the world is the strongest. Longfei laughed. Xianzong and Xian Yu did not speak, but they looked the same, faintly worried, and saw that Longfei was so relaxed. Now the dragon court is standing, the enemy is waiting, your repair is still too weak. Longfei said with deepness, and then directly in front of a few people, squeezed out 3 drops of blood. You are now retreating and refining my blood. This blood is enough to change your body and make you stronger. When I return, I will pass on the emperor to you. Longfei said. This is his woman, he naturally cares. The 3 did not refuse, because Longfei said that they are eager in their hearts. Although they are not weak, the enemy that Longfei faces is too strong. Only by working hard, can it help the dragon to fly. So at this moment, no one has hesitated and directly received the past. Right, Longfei brother, what are you doing? Xiao Yue asked. This mythological world is too boring. And since I am the lord of the dragon court, within the 4 seas, I will respect you. Today's dragon court is still too weak. Longfei's eyes were condensed and he said. Chapter 4801. Chapter 4801. On the shore of the East China Sea, Mad Wolf Days. The huge waves patted the shore, whistling the world, and the scene was extremely embarrassing. You can't see a person at all. Dang dang, dang dang. But at this moment, a bell rang. 2 figures appeared quietly in the East China Sea, watching the East China Sea, motionless. Big brother, what are we doing here? A tender voice appeared. In a long red dress with ankles, the bell sways in the wind. Come on the dragon. Longfei said, simply overbearing. Catch the dragon? Big brother, don't want it, I listened to Xiaoya's sister, don't look at the dragons surrender to heaven, but in fact they are very powerful, only because of some things that happened in ancient times, they have to surrender. Tushan Xiaosu said weakly. Obviously, there is an instinctive awe of Longfei. Longfei stunned, his brow slightly picked. For this dragon in the mythical world, Longfei has never really touched. However, among the books known to the earth, the dragons are too embarrassed. It's hard to hear, it's not like a dog. No, it is not as good as a pig or a dog. Even Yanglan's roaring dog is more powerful than the dragon. Even if it is a pig, it is more powerful than Longfei. Nowadays, listening to Xiaosu Susu, this one actually involves some things in ancient times, and it is inevitable that Longfei's heart will be shocked. Reassured, there is me, even if it is a dragon, you have to squat. What's more, I set up Long Ting, if there is no dragon, how can it be like? Longfei said, a little chuckle appeared in the corner of his mouth. In the next moment, Longfei's body was shocked, and the power of the blood was slightly scattered. Booming. A dragon is very powerful, and it swept out in an instant, and it sprouted from the body. Hey! In an instant, the East China Sea shook, and the entire East China Sea was above the sea, and it was like a sea of dragons. At this time, under the East China Sea, the East China Sea Dragon Palace. Rumble. Rumble. The entire East China Sea Dragon Palace began to shake, the dragons up and down, thousands of large and small dragons. This moment all cannot restrain the appearance of the body. Roar. 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 Wan Long's roar, including the East China Sea Dragon King, is difficult to suppress. Dragon King, what is wrong with this? Is it that those in heaven are not willing to let us go? This breath is too horrible. I can't suppress the fear in my heart. I want to surrender and want to bow down. Yes, I am also like this. It seems that the owner of this breath is the ancestor of our dragon family and has a natural suppression of us. A dragon is surrounded by the dragon palace, and the body is constantly depressed, densely packed, and the dragon palace is almost unbearable. What they don't know is that the Donghai Dragon King is also forcibly suppressed at this time, otherwise it is like a dragon. This kind of breath is indeed the atmosphere of the dragons, but my ancestors of the dragons have long been counted by the saints. How could they show up? No, go on like this, my Donghai dragons, I am afraid that I will be forced to die by this breath. Anyway, be sure to check out what is going on. The thought of the Dragon King of the East China Sea. This idea is a big horror, a lot of secrets, even for the dragons, it is a secret that cannot be said, so at this moment, the Dragon King of the East China Sea does not dare to explain with the dragon. No matter, my dragon is now the ***** of heaven. Absolutely not, someone will dare to shoot us. With the king, go and see what happened. The East China Sea Dragon King is self-satisfied, turned into a dragon body, and jumped fiercely and flew out of the East China Sea. Above the East China Sea, Long Fei has not spoken since he escaped a breath, waiting quietly. Hey! The huge waves are skyrocketing, and a water curtain of hundreds of feet rises directly from the air and forms on the East China Sea. Then, one after another, the dragons flew out from the East China Sea. Headed by the golden dragon of the East China Sea Dragon King coming. Long Fei said faintly, his eyes were shocked and he looked at the giant dragons in front of him. Big brother, what are you doing? So many dragons, I am afraid that the dragons of the entire East China Sea are coming out. Xiao Su 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 said. The eyes have become a little dodging. After all, this is the dragon. Even if she has sealed all the power of Tu Shan Xiao Hong in front of the dragons, there are also natural fears. Long Fei naturally also noticed this, the body was slightly tilted, and the blood was released, directly shielding the dragon's pressure. Although the atmosphere of the dragon is strong, it is not worth mentioning in front of Long Fei. But this scene, falling in the eyes of the dragons on the east coast, is extremely shocking. Especially the Dragon King of the East China Sea, the breath of Long Fei's body is shocked. He have already guessed that Long Fei is the one who makes them the Donghai dragons and the dogs and dogs. Bold humans, dare to let go in my East China Sea. The Dragon King of the East China Sea roared, and the huge dragon body was stunned. Under the wrath, the water wave was over the sky. Roar, roar. Countless dragons began to pick up with the words of the East China Sea Dragon King, one by one, and wished to let Long Fei give birth to life. Of course, all of this is based on the fact that they simply don't know that Long Fei is the source of all fear in their hearts. If you know, don't say to Dragonfly, afraid to see Long Fei, directly surrender. Big brother, beat him. Tushan Xiaohong's natural fear disappeared at this time. Long Fei is in his heart, and he is extremely strong. Even Tianting and Buddhism are not worth mentioning in the eyes of Long Fei. Nowadays, the Donghai dragons dare to slap their claws, which is simply a dead end. Long Fei smiled softly and did not speak. The reaction of the dragons is too normal. If they come to the door, it is really like what Long Fei knows. If the mouth is closed and the eyes are closed, the eyebrows will be disappointing. Give you two choices, the first to surrender to me, I will bring you back to the ancient dragons. Long Fei said indifferently. If you haven't finished speaking, you will be interrupted directly. Let's go, what are you? I am the Dragon King of the East China Sea, do you a human monk dare to let me surrender? The dragon in the East China Sea Dragon King said that Long Wei is full of anger and anger. It seems that you are choosing the second one. Long Fei said that there is no rebuttal. To practice the world, strength is the only criterion for verifying everything. Instead of wasting more words, it is better to directly put the other's mind to the line. Choose, you also let the king choose. Kid, I advise you where to come from, where to go, otherwise you will die today. The East China Sea Dragon King gave a cold drink. But obviously, I don't want to make a big move. Obviously it is because of the breath that I showed before, which makes him feel fear. Since this lord has come here, do you think you have a chance to bargain? Since you don't surrender, you can only take the second road. Longfei said, and then the body flashed and walked on the waves. Call to your service. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,